going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 211. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
What up, what up, what up?
Brett Murdoch.
Yo.
And Adam Vale.
Get that turkey.
You know, all right. Yeah, man. Happy pre-Thanksgiving. And Manny, you're no longer in a James Cameron movie.
No. Now I'm in Barry Lyndon.
Yes.
Everything's all candlelit.
Yeah, man. So hope you guys enjoyed the intro. It's back after a couple of weeks of absence. May as well tell you guys the story while you guys are getting in here. Your boy's stupid. Okay, so basically, I think I told you the first half of the story. I'll tell you the whole thing now. So basically, a couple weeks ago, like I came back home and my monitor was like all fucked up looking, like it looked all pixely or whatever. So I'm like, maybe the resolution's all fucked up. Went to change it, and it just completely like nothing. It just had a display port input missing or whatever. I'm like, that sucks. So I plugged in HDMI. Everything was fine, but that means I didn't have dual screen because basically I have my monitor for one screen and then my TV for another screen because I don't have like two actual monitors. And I was fine. And then the other day, like, you know, I was like, okay, let me try to fix this shit. I thought it was basically the display port in my graphics card was fucked up. So I'm like, okay, let me plug it in somewhere else, you know? So I did all that, and then my monitor wasn't turning on at all. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I was getting ready to head down to Micro Center, buy another monitor, and then I'm like, hold on, let me see something. I checked the power connection, you know, like the plug. Instantly, everything turned on. I'm like, oh my fucking God, are you kidding me? For 3 weeks, this was the issue? Really? So I was so focused on the connections in the PC and the HDMIs, all that, I didn't bother to check if the power connection was good. So basically, like, on the one hand, I feel like an idiot, but on the other hand, I was like, I'm fucking relieved there wasn't a real issue, you know? So yeah, PC, man, it's crazy. But I'm just glad I got all that fixed. Now you guys get your intros and all the other shit. It's crazy, man. Before we start, no Brian action because he's... What's the excuse tonight?
I don't know.
Something or other. Shout out to
Doing
Glory.
Something incredibly British.
I think he's busy not celebrating Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. By the way, shout out to Glorious War, aka Hussein Unsal, who just subscribed to us again for 2 months in a row. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Why, thank you, sir.
You know.
All right.
Awesome. All right, and because it is pre-Thanksgiving, or it's probably going to be Thanksgiving in like an hour or so. I'm drinking, so here's some whiskey to you.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, I ain't got work tomorrow, son. Let's go.
Watch the show. Watch the show balloon to 3 hours longer to rants and randomness.
Yeah.
Actually, the end of the show is going to be Tony just going, no. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. Actually, funny you mentioned that because the last couple of shows of ours have been getting close to 3 hours. Is because again, since I don't have dual monitors, I can't see OBS to tell me how long the show's been running for. That topic we did on indie games, 50 fucking minutes. I had no idea. It just felt right, you know? So now I could at least look at the little counters like, all right, guys, kill this shit now, you know? But you're right. Maybe I'll get too drunk because I'm just planning to drink this much, but I still got the whole bottle here. So we'll see what happens.
Do you ever plan to drink that much more than that?
No, Brett, you know how it is, man. Like, I'm going to just drink this much. And then it just keeps going and going.
Oh man, that went down good. I can go for one more. You have a third one, and then you're like, oh fuck it, I'm all in anyway.
Exactly. You know, it always works like that too. It's hilarious, man. All right, so believe it or not, even though this week has been short, we got a lot of shit to cover. The gaming gods blessed us this week, so
didn't bless us with some of that news.
Yeah, we'll get into that, man. All right, so the first things up here is the October NPDs are out, and the big shocking news here. Here's the thing. I should say shocking, but not surprising, because we all thought, like, Red Dead's got this shit. Nope. Call of Duty.
Red Dead does have this shit still.
Well, no. Hey, we're talking about October. We're talking about October.
Yeah, last week of October don't count. If anything, I thought Assassin's Odyssey would have had it.
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, because that's the third game. it actually, because number 3 game, even though it's been out for 2 months, which means it's doing well. So, but yeah, Call of Duty. The big story here is that Call of Duty, without the single player, it beat out Red Dead. I don't know by how much though, because Red Dead must have sold around 20 million or so. No, 17 million. My bad. So Call of Duty sold more than that, but like Adam said, it was out longer during the month.
Yeah, it was only had 1 week. Think about it, 1 week, and it got to number 2.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. It
jumped over Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is getting rave reviews and was out for.
Yeah, did it hit 17 million in 3 days?
Right?
Or something like that.
I believe it was either 3 days or the first week. It was one of those.
Yeah, but that's still fast. It's like insane.
I think we could safely say it's gonna be the number 1 game in November.
Yeah, all of us are still on copy 1. We still need to buy 2 more.
Yeah, right. Man, I gotta buy like 50 more. Man, I gotta buy it for my Switch, my PC.
This PC, the new Amazon microwave. I heard an edition on that shit. Play with Alexa. She helps. She's the horse. I'm like, what?
She's the horse.
She's a horse.
It's gonna be dope.
That's crazy. By the way, quick shout out to Riku who's in the chat. Hey Riku, if you want to be in on this show, brother, let me know. I'll slide you in, man. It'd be crazy.
It was his birthday last week. Happy birthday, Riku.
Oh man. Anyway, let's do what we usually just run down the game. So number 1 game was Black Ops 4, right? And I think they're omitting they're not including PC sales for this one. So take that how you will. So I don't know how much it sells on PC, but they're not counting that. Number 2 game is Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 3 is Assassin's Creed.
And by the way, Red Dead Redemption 2, they're also omitting PC sales.
Yeah, they are. It's funny because they don't have the asterisk. What's up with that? Assassin's Creed Odyssey number 3, which is good for the second month. NBA 2K number 4, Super Mario Party number 5, Soul Calibur 6 number 6. That's appropriate. Adam, your favorite FIFA 19 number 7. They're omitting PC sales.
It'll always be there. Think about it. It's the game that just is constant around the world. There's always a league playing somewhere, so there's always going to be fresh buyers.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. That was number 7. Number 8 is Spider-Man's. Number 9, Madden NFL. You already know. Number 10, WWE 2019. Forza Horizon, number 11. That's pretty good. Lego DC Supervillains, number 12. My Heroes One Justice, number 3. I don't know what the fuck that is.
My Hero Academia.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's a game, yeah. I need to get that one too.
Carlos, remind me to tell you something off air about that game specifically.
Okay.
All right.
By the way, I'm surprised Forza is in the top 11.
Hey, that's good, man. Microsoft's.
It's a racing. Think about it. They didn't really get any competition this year because the crew that bombed.
Yeah, it bombed bad too.
If you want a good racing game, I mean, I feel like every year there's a few things that everyone has to get. At least people that are used to getting a certain time. You get your shooter, right? You get a Call of Duty or Battlefield. You get a racing game. You try to find an action game sprinkled here or there, like an Assassin's Creed or something, and then you're good. Then you eat your turkey and you take a nap.
Hey,
wait! I heard something. I heard a screaming. Sounds like it's from London. I think it's Brian.
Yes.
Got me nervous. I'm like, shit, I do got a lot of kids. Shit.
I think it's Brian when you said the crew.
Sorry, Brian. What are we up to?
No, the crew wasn't the one that was there in London. That's the Forza.
No. Brian was a big fan of the original game.
Really?
He loved that game.
Shit.
Where are we?
The crew is the greatest game ever made.
It's the greatest game ever. All right, number 14, we got Shadow of the Tomb Raider still holding in there. Surprising because they already slashed the price on that bitch.
Well, that's how they get up there. That's
I guess.
With a lot of those games, you drop those prices and then the numbers jump. How many times have we seen where old ass games are like in the top 5? And what the hell? And you find out, they were on sale for like $10.
Yeah. Mario Kart 8, number 15. Brian's favorite, Grand Theft Auto 5, number 16. Super Mario Odyssey, number 17. There's no digital sales for that one. Adam, here's your favorite, Diablo 3, man. It's back in there. That's probably because of Switch. It's probably got to be because of Switch.
Course. And I'm still playing. I love it. I love it on the Switch. But it's funny with all those games listed, Mario Kart 8, think about it. That's a Wii U game. That's a port. That is a port that is still up there making money. Nothing new added to that shit. It's just a straight port.
You know what else is a port that's still here? It's technically a port. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, number 19, still in that bitch.
Yeah, so is GTA.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was about to say the same thing. GTA is a port.
Oh shit, that is true.
Well, no, GTA is the same GTA. It's just all over the place. But
Yeah.
the Wii U, nobody bought that shit from Mario.
Carlos,
What up?
you bought the shit. You bought the Wii U.
Oh yeah, man. I'm like me and like 5 other guys. We have a
That's what I'm
fucking group on
Yeah.
fucking
That's it.
Discord, man. We talk to each other. We
That's
consult
it.
each
Go to
other.
play
The gaming
online, they take
community, man.
screenshots. They're the same crew. They were like, "Oh, who else plays on this? Nobody else plays on it, just us."
Yeah, and
Yep.
the last one here, NHL 19. So there you go. And it seems sales overall are up this year, with the exception of the Switch. For obvious reasons, though, no Mario Odyssey, but the Switch still destroyed the Xbox. As usual, PS4 number 1, Switch number 2, Xbox number 3. I guess all that power don't mean nothing, do it? I'm just saying, man.
The
The
most powerful console
Oh,
on the planet.
It's weird. It's like power doesn't mean anything. Exclusives don't mean anything. It's just what people want to do. Wherever they want to go is where they want to go.
No, you're right about that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because I really would have thought when PlayStation announced all those, top sellers, downloads, I was at least expecting Spider-Man to be on there. I'm like, everybody likes Spider-Man, right? And that wasn't even there.
Oh, this is interesting.
That's true.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that's true. I don't see Spider-Man. That shit fell off.
I was like, I understand God of War, it's not for everybody, but Spider-Man, freaking every little kid wants a Spider-Man game. You know what I mean? It's like you would think that would have been up there, and it wasn't.
Well, it's in the top 10, but yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Okay, now because of this month alone, the cards have been shifted for best games of best selling games of the year. Remember, Far Cry 5 has been there almost the entire year, so now things are different. The best selling game of the year so far has been Call of Duty Black Ops 4. The number 2 game, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 3, Far Cry 5. Number 4, Spider-Man. So there you go, Adam. Number 4, best-selling game of the entire year.
Perfect.
All right, NBA 2K number 5, God of War number 6, Monster Hunter World number 7, Madden NFL
And
number.
Fallout 76.
No, that shit ain't even.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, well, it came out in November though, so it don't count.
Okay.
It don't count. I'm curious to see where that lands next month.
It's gonna be number 2 at least, right?
We'll see about that. NFL number 8, GTA number 9, best-selling game of the year, and Call of Duty World War II from last year's number 10. Fucking crazy, man. And yeah, Call of Duty and Red Dead Redemption lead both PS4 and Xbox sales. And Assassin's Creed number 3, look at that. Interesting. Oh, Adam, check this out. So the number, before we get to an actual exclusive on both the PS4 and Xbox, is both number 4. Number 4 game for PlayStation for the entire year is Marvel's Spider-Man. Number 4 for Xbox is Forza Horizon 4. So there you go.
But the thing is that when they released that report that came out celebrating their success, they didn't have any of their exclusives listed.
Yeah, that is true.
They didn't even list that. So I don't know.
Yeah. For Switch is interesting because you got to go down a couple of games before you get to a non-exclusive. The best-selling game on Switch this entire year has been Mario Party. When the fuck did that come out?
Yeah, I think it came out like 2 or 3 months ago, maybe.
What the fuck?
Not even. Did it? Really?
Yeah, Mario Party, not
Just
Mario
last
Kart.
month.
Yeah, I thought it was last month.
Yeah, Mario Party. That's new.
Crazy, man. Mario Kart 8. I don't need to go through all this shit, but yeah, you basically got to go to number 5 for Diablo 3. Starlink, Dark Souls. Actually, this is interesting. The first 4 games on Switch are all exclusive. Then the last 6 are all, they're all third party. Interesting.
Isn't Starlink an exclusive? Well, exclusive third party.
Is it? It's a third party game though, isn't it? I could be wrong. I could be completely
Yeah, it's
wrong.
Ubisoft. It's Ubisoft, and it came out for PS4.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just the exclusive content was Star Fox on Switch.
Star Fox.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So, any takes you guys have for MPDs, Chris? Anything you saw that stood out to you with numbers?
I am just surprised about Black Ops 4, man. That's it.
I'm not surprised only because it's Call of Duty. Because remember, there's still a lot of people that
surprised.
didn't buy it and didn't know. No, we're still counting that early crew of people that did not know it didn't have a campaign.
I blame Adam.
They gotta
You bought it, motherfucker.
There gotta be some campaign.
They gotta have something,
Yeah, be something. I saw in the commercial.
Those deniers, man.
right?
So
It's got to be in here.
yeah, the two things that stood out to me was like Call of Duty being number one, and then Soul Calibur being ahead of Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know,
And in terms of fighting franchises, that isn't like up there with like
Yeah.
this is not Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or whatever. I know Soul Calibur is popular, but like none of us are playing it.
No.
no,
I wanted to get it, but I had it,
I didn't
For
after
what
the
time?
last one. Honestly, I thought Namco kind of burned some people with that cash grab with the last one.
Hmm.
The
with 5, right?
microtransaction bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right
But
about
no,
that.
apparently not.
Well, this version of Soul Calibur was riding on a lot because if this one had done well, they probably would have stopped making them.
Well, they said if this one does not do well, they're not going to make any more Soul Caliburs. So it kind of shows you the franchise is kind of
Okay
like
with that.
dancing on the edge of a knife, you know?
And not to mention, it kind of went back in the Soul Calibur history.
Yeah,
to
because
the previous-
isn't it kind of like a remix of the first game, basically, for Soul Calibur?
Yeah. It's like it's takes place not far after the first game,
Interesting.
and a lot of the characters look like the way they did before.
Yeah, Mitsurugi's all young and shit. It's interesting. All right, anybody else? Yeah, go ahead, Carlos. What's your take on all this?
It's just interesting to see how, like, not even a month, less than a month, Call of Duty's been on for sale, and it's already number one. Like, that's all it takes.
But it had no competition. Battlefield didn't come out. So when you want, like I said before, if you want that new shooter for that year, there's nothing else.
Yeah, but Far Cry 5 has been in the market for months.
That's not a good game though.
Yeah, like God of War's been in the market for months. NBA 2K, Madden, they've been on the market for months. Call of Duty's been on the market for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks maybe, and it's already number one of the whole year.
It's that multiplayer thing, man. Like there are plenty of good games, but there aren't a lot of good games to play online with people, and people care about that shit.
That's it.
No, I guess that
That's why you
proves.
see those tweets from
yeah.
Phil Spencer when he was like, "I told you so." He said
Yeah.
direct to Tony, and Tony just deleted the shit. So like,
Yeah, I guess hashtag Phil Spencer was right, you know?
yeah, he was right. He's like, "I see the future. I got that 8-ball."
Yeah.
I
go ahead, man.
I just, like, you know how last gen, we're always like waiting for that Halo killer?
Yeah. You waiting for that Call
guys-
of Duty killer?
Yeah, no one's ever mentioned that. Like, I don't see a freaking Call of Duty killer ever. Like,
Well, that was supposed to be Battlefield. That when they did the regroup and they started adding the crazy story and the over the top Michael Bay the story mode and action and the Battlefield, that was it. It's because they wanted to compete. 'Cause before that, Battlefield was not like that. You just parachute in and you just start fighting. You die. You parachute in. You die. You know, there was nothing really to it. But they tried to compete, and then as you see now, it's just not working out for them.
Yeah, see, for me, and hey, listen, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I thought Fortnite was going to be the Call of Duty killer. Nope. Apparently not, But at the same time, since Fortnite is free, it's not going to be on MPDs. So it could have already, like, had more copies or something, but I honestly thought Fortnite was going to be it.
But if we go based off of earnings of which one's making more money, Fortnite's making more money.
Yeah.
From all microtransactions. So yeah, it's free, but it's killing it, and the internal sales, the microtransaction sales, that's something that Call of Duty is not doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that is true. I think, like what you said is true. Next month will be the telling, That's when we'll really see what's going on with Call of Duty, It's crazy, man. All right, I think that's going to do it for that, unless you guys want to add anything else to the conversation.
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. There you go. All right, next up, now we're going into Rumor Town, people. So, get your salt. And,
Is it anything like Crazy Town?
it could be.
Rumor Town has a lot of shh, yo, buddy, want to hear something? Shh,
Yeah, like, yo, let me take you to the back alley. I got some shit to tell you.
Rumor Town is Crazy Town adjacent.
Yes. All right, so basically the same guy that let's give this guy some credit here. His name is Ruthenic Cookie. He predicted, or whatever, I don't know, whatever we want to call it, but he's an insider, and he said that PlayStation would not be at E3, and he turned out to be true. So this is the reason we're talking about this rumor. If not because of that, I wouldn't talk about this rumor at all. So the rumor is that the PlayStation 5 will drop in 2020, as most of us kind of agree on, and that it'll be $500 and come bundled with PSVR 2. So I have a lot to say about this. Specifically, going to call out some hypocrites here, but what do you guys make of this?
I think there'll be 2 SKUs. They come on now. That's like forcing it down their throat, just like what Microsoft did with Kinect. You can't do that shit.
I completely agree.
That'd be a hypocrite.
But even so, I gotta ask. So if they come out with 2 launch SKUs, one bundled with it, would you say that VR has hit mainstream yet, Tony?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes, I would.
Now we can't give Brett this win.
No, hey, listen. Remember what we talked about before? I'm all about consistency. If that shit comes bundled with a VR, that already lets you know what's up. You know?
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
it means
does.
that they're really trying to push it, just like Microsoft did with the Kinect.
I don't know,
Kinect
man. Hey, listen, PSVR sold
like,
3 million, bro. I'm just saying.
Yeah, here, take this. No.
In all seriousness, I would agree with Brett.
But
I'm agreeing too.
And not to mention, it's only $100 more.
Oh,
I mean, currently
$100 more.
No. Here's what I'm saying. The current PlayStation VR is about $400. It's essentially equivalent to buying another PlayStation 4.
Yes.
If it's not wireless, no one's going to give a shit because that wireless one that the Rift is working on, from what they're saying, reviewers and people that use it say it's amazing. That's what
I agree. Yeah, if this new 2 version needs to be wireless, but here I'm just going to get right to it, right? What I found interesting about this whole story was I saw a bunch of PlayStation guys on Twitter celebrating this. Like, oh, yeah, man, this shit's going to be worth the $500. I can't fucking wait. I'm like, really? Because you guys were like shitting on Xbox One was $500 that came with a peripheral you didn't want to pay for. What's the difference? And the counter is like, oh, yeah, but it's going to be worth it. This shit's going to be powerful. Word? Xbox One X is powerful. You made fun of that, too. I'm just saying, where's the consistency, motherfuckers?
There's no consistency.
You know? Fanboy's gonna fanboy, I call them out on both sides, man.
Now here's the thing. That's why I don't believe it. I think they're gonna have 2 SKUs, but then Microsoft is gonna have their 2 SKUs with the whole streaming box with no drive, and then the other one that's a normal one. That really, it's another spectrum. It's like you have one audience that maybe are into getting console and VR, and then Microsoft's going in a different direction. We're going in a direction of people that just sort of want like a streaming PC, So
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting.
But I agree. By the way, I personally think this whole rumor is fucking bullshit. I don't believe a word of it, except for the 2020 part. But anybody we guessed that shit months ago, But yeah, the whole
Sony's gonna leverage the VR thing. Like Oculus has come out with some great technology, but they don't have the access to market that Sony does. So the funny thing is, Sony can just sit back, see what's working on a small scale, and then be like, yeah, we can put this in the hands of millions of people. So it's almost no matter how successful Oculus is, it's stuck in the PC market. They can't get super wide adoption. So they can take all of the success with very little of the risk and just be like, okay, we're going to do what Oculus did. Put it on PlayStation 5, boom, let's go. And if it is that good an experience, it's not going to be that hard. I mean, you have to admit, Sony's going to be the one almost definitely at this point to push VR into everybody's house.
Sony's already doing that. Sony's already doing that.
People want to play though. That's the thing. You can bundle it, but if you have nothing worth playing, that's the whole thing with Kinect.
But
it sounded great.
But Adam, here's the thing. Apparently, those PSVR games are selling really, really well.
They're dirt cheap now. When they first came out, they were like $40-$50.
Dude, there's a lot of like really highly acclaimed games. Like I know a lot of you aren't. It's one of those things like saying it's big in PC right now, so a lot of people don't realize, but like. They've actually come a long way. They're fully fledged games now. They're like critically acclaimed experiences. And the key thing that I think that they're banking on here is VR is one of those things where you can explain it all day long, but until you meet somebody or have a friend or somebody that has one and you play it, you're like, oh, okay. Like even down to like VR sounds fun, but I'm afraid I'm going to get motion sickness. Like there's no way to alleviate that unless you have demo units, and that has all kinds of problems. We're not even going to open that box. Or you have a friend who has one, or they bundle, they put one in your hands. They're forcing market adoption here. I agree. But at the same time, unlike Kinect, it has a rewarding experience according to people and was a feature actually asked for by some people. Not the majority, but there were. It's not like nobody asked for the Kinect.
Yeah.
Literally nobody asked for the Kinect.
But it's the same thing even when they did the Move and they started bundling with the moves. and they'll be like, "Oh no, you're gonna want to use this." Fuck that.
Yeah,
Don't
but
want
again,
that either.
literally nobody asked for the move.
No, but they still
By
did
the-
it. And if they do it, I think it's gonna be the same. It won't
By
be
the way,
main-
that's also this is not part of this rumor specifically, but they are supposedly going to upgrade the move controls. By the way, Glorious Force says that he thinks I misread the rumor. Not exactly, because specifically the part where I'm talking about the price point. A lot of other YouTubers have talked about it too, so it all came from the same guy. You know what I'm saying?
But then wait a
yeah.
minute, wait. You just wait.
Yeah.
You just said it.
Yeah.
Just the headset. That means it's not coming with the camera or the move. Control. You still have to buy that. It's just the headset.
We don't know that. It could come bundled with all that. But again, this is just a rumor. We don't know, man.
Just say the headset, or
No, the rumor just said that. Yeah.
It
Well,
needs the camera to work. It may not come with the control wands, and honestly, I can see that being like we're not gonna we're gonna cut the point down, so that we give people a headset, and there's a camera hookup that comes with the whole thing, because we want people to be able to take pictures, and it helps the PSVR move and everything like that. I could see them selling the move controllers separately though, because that's one of those things where some people want them, some people don't. Even if they want to play in VR, some people are still like, I don't want to wave my arms around.
Carlos, do you wear glasses?
Yeah.
Do you wear glasses? Because do you have
I only
your
wear my home.
VR? No, all right. So with the VR thing, do you have to wear the glasses with them, or
Yeah.
how does that feel?
That wasn't too bad.
They built it so that it fits over people with glasses.
yeah.
No, I know, but I mean, like, the fact that the VR is up close and then you're wearing glasses, you know what I mean? That already brings the image more focused.
Nah,
on top of that.
For me, the worst part of the PSVR was just the stability of the whole thing. Like I would get disoriented. Like I don't know. Is disoriented the right word? Like
disorient is a word. Yeah.
Feel like dizzy and
Is it the right word? It's like, how you have to like sort of realign the position of where the VR is. Like I would recalibrate, like where my position is, like very frequently, and that shit would get so annoying.
Yeah, there's some kinks that got to work out of that. But anyway, I do want to make it clear again. I do not take stock in any of these rumors. As a matter of fact, here's the interesting part. This same guy said that Anthem is going to be delayed, right? Because the game's supposed to be coming out in February. If the game is delayed in February, then we could say, okay, maybe he has something going on with these rumors. But
I don't know. They're not really far-fetched rumors, though. Like, we all agree that if you can track the prints of the buffalo, you can see that they're coming out in 2020. It's pretty obvious. $500 is a pretty standard price point at this time. Like, yes,
400 is standard,
No, it was
dude.
400 last time, man. They've been slowly with these higher SKUs and the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. Like,
that was still 400 though.
It's still 400. Yeah, the Pro was 400.
Yeah, I'm convinced people are going to be prepared to pay 500.
I don't think so. I disagree. I'm just going off of history. It might cost $500.
So. That's I said it on Twitter. That's the better get another job to get the system.
No one's paying $500. $500 is too much. $500, you're only going to get the hardcore enthusiasts. You're going to lose the mass market. It needs to be 400.
They would be hypocrites, because that was the whole goof on the other one. I was like, you do all that? Well, we're $100 less, and we do all that.
They've been hypocrites in the past. They'll be hypocrites.
Yeah. Well, listen, they're being hypocrites now. The same guys that made fun of Xbox for 500 are now jumping on board for this thing being 500.
I'm talking about Sony, the corporation. If they just came out with 500 or more.
They've been hypocrites in the past. They'll be hypocrites in the future. Well, I just want to mention, Brett.
Yes.
I'm a staunch advocate against your preachings of virtual reality and such, but I will say I'm leaning more. Just a smidge. I'm leaning more towards your side, because I went to a place called Korea, and VR cafes are a thing.
Whoa,
really?
Yeah.
Is Pink Eye also a big thing?
Hey, Brett.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, Brett, there's a word for that. It's called validation.
Feels good, man.
But I went in the subway every single day. No one was playing with a Switch.
Oh man!
Talk about the phones. Did you see any crazy looking?
No,
phones?
No. Stay on topic. We're not going down the fucking rabbit hole.
Save it for the after show, man.
You know
what about the rugs? Any nice
this motherfucker? Yeah, man. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Anthem and all that. But yeah, no, $500. That shit it's not dead in the water, but it's only going to be for the enthusiasts. I do not believe that shit for a second.
I definitely agree that there's going to be 2 SKUs. That's not going to
Two
be
SKUs is the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, Manny, I want to
agree.
throw something at. Hold on, Brett. I want to throw something at you, Manny. This is from Fan of Ash. This is an interesting one because you know how Xbox One is going to have like a version without a disc.
Mm-hmm.
What if the $399 version does not have a disc drive? Do you think that could be possible?
That would be interesting, but that also would be cutting out the $399 one is the only one that comes with a disc.
Yeah, just potentially speaking, hypothetically speaking, like because that would be a way of cutting out some of the cost if you don't have a disc drive.
That would be, but yeah, that would be annoying to some people. It's like, oh man, I don't want to buy this fucking VR system. You'll have a bunch of people selling off VRs.
Yeah, no. You buy the VR-less system $399, but it doesn't have a disc drive.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
I think what if the only difference is the VR? Like $399 without a VR, $499 with
yeah,
the VR.
well, see, that's what I would do. That's what I would do.
$100 more, I'm gonna buy the VR set. Like
some would. Some would. I agree.
I think a lot of people would. A lot of people would take that chance. A lot of people are willing to gamble with $100 more than $350 or $400.
I think we're going to see a bunch of SKUs.
I hope so. I hope so. If they do multiple SKUs, that'll be good. Yeah.
I think you guys are giving Sony too much credit.
Not too much credit. It's just a trend. Look, all these games now before it used to be a standard and a deluxe. Now we got standard, deluxe, legendary, butter edition. We got all these crazy. They're charging all these ridiculous amounts. It's like 4 or 5 different, especially Ubisoft games. Remember that was a whole issue with these.
Yo, by the way, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is on sale. It took me 15 minutes to figure out which one I wanted. Adam, it's like fuck. There's like 50 of them.
I told you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that's what we're going to see. And the same thing's going to be for Microsoft.
I see your logic.
Yeah. Hey, you want the regular one with a disk drive and all that? Here's the pricing. For those who don't even use a drive, like myself, I don't use the damn drive. It just collects dust.
Yeah, I would get the one without the drive. Yeah.
There you go. No drive? Pfft, that's great. I don't need it. Right? All right, then this one's for you. And I was like, all right, then that's the one that I want. So I could see them doing that.
Yeah, go ahead, Brett.
It's a new era.
Sorry, I got to ask you. So when you say that people wouldn't pay $500 for a system,
no, some wouldn't.
I heard GTA.
Yeah,
most people wouldn't.
Most people wouldn't. Some would. Some definitely
people
would.
People are paying $90 for a fucking video game now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
It should be $60.
Yeah. By the way, just to make it clear, I agree with what you said. Some people would be like, okay, I get this one for $400, but for $100 more, I get VR. I'll buy that shit. I agree with you on that. I'm just saying some people will not want that one. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have both. But
I think some people won't want VR. It would be smart for Sony not to force it on people, just to give them incentive to get it, because otherwise, you'll see a bunch of VR headsets for sale and shit like that. You don't want to flood the market and devalue your product.
Yeah.
And that would just be exactly what happens.
As a matter of fact, it might be smart marketing to have 2 SKUs because people will be like, fuck, it's just $100, whatever. You're right about
exactly.
that.
People are much happier being enticed into something than being forced into it.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
What if it's taking something else? So what if it's like, hey, you get that VR one, but it doesn't come with the drive, the Blu-ray drive?
I don't know about that. Because remember, by the way,
balanced out on their financial end because it does cost money to make these headsets.
Yeah. By the way, the whole discless thing is just something we're just throwing in there. That the rumor has said nothing about that at all. But I think it's probably something. Microsoft said it, so
that's what I'm saying. So I see them doing it definitely, and it just comes with like a larger drive internal, and of course a bunch of ports.
Check this out. This is cool from Glorious, where he thinks it's going to be $500 due to the price of RAM and silicon. I do not disagree with that, but like I told him on Twitter, most people will not care about that. They'll be like, I want to pay $400. You know how people are, dude.
Yeah, they're not going to be like, well, due to the market.
Yeah, no one's going to do that. Like
the market of silicon.
Yeah, I agree with what he's saying, but people don't think like that.
The cost of plastics is up this year.
No one's going to think about that. No one's going to think about that, Brad. You know that. No one's compared to PCs.
That's what they did last generation.
I'm talking about the guy who goes into Best Buy. He's not thinking about that shit. He's like, what's the best system?
The news was that's all.
So he's like, yo, I'm gonna go get this console. it's so much money, but I'm going to excuse that because the cost of plastics is up.
Yeah, no one's thinking
No,
about
no,
that
no,
shit.
Come on.
no.
I want to buy me
No,
a
no, hold
console,
on.
but I understand that the plastics cost too much.
We're talking
no,
about,
no,
we're
that's not what
talking
I'm
about,
saying.
we're talking about a world where people don't even know how to turn off fucking motion
Dude,
flow.
we're talking about a
TV.
world of Twitter. We're talking about a world where people come in and say like, well, did you know that for the Xbox is the same amount of horsepower as a PC for less than half the cost?
Twitter doesn't make them money.
Dude, no, but we're talking about that. That happens. Somebody back me up. That happened.
Joe Blow that makes the
Xbox
money, man.
Watched this last time.
Twitter's a minority.
All the spec comparisons that all the news sites do. Are you going to pretend that doesn't happen?
No,
Yeah,
that
no,
happens
Brett,
all
that
the
does.
time.
But Joe Blow doesn't look at that shit.
Yeah, he does. Joe Blow.
Joe Blow's an idiot. He doesn't look at that stuff.
And most people don't look at that stuff. That's exactly the reason why what is it? Call of Duty is at the top right now. I'm sure most of those people who bought that game don't even know that the goddamn game doesn't have a single player in it.
Yeah, Brett, you can't give these people that much credit, bro. Joe Blow's an idiot.
Yeah, you know,
Joe Blow takes the spoon-fed information that they're given, and when the spoon-fed information they're given is that this is a good value for the price, they'll be like, "Oh, okay. I mean, I can't get that kind of. I mean, IGN tells me that it's just strong as
Joe Blow doesn't go to IGN, bro. Joe Blow gets his information directly from the Best Buy seller. That's who they get.
He heard it for the Best Buy seller or his good buddy. He's like, "Yo, I heard that this is a good value." Really?
Have you ever gone to GameStop and listened to the conversations that go on there?
Yeah, it's ignorant as shit.
Mm-hmm.
It is extremely ignorant.
At the GameStop, you hear a conversation like this. Man, I don't like buying my kid those Grand Theft Auto games because they cost so much money.
My favorite GameStop conversation of all time was like, "Oh man, I wish they made Call of Duty for PlayStation." That is an exact quote. People are stupid, you know. I'm telling you, don't give them that much credit, man.
Or like you start hearing some like fanboy kind of conversations, and then like they just like there's like a little Xbox versus PlayStation thing, and they always
goes off the
reiterate
rails and makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, and they have like their own like little talking points and shit.
That's a whole other topic of discussion. I cannot talk to not normies, but like kind of those type of gamers. I can't talk to them. It's like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well,
You know why Xbox is the greatest console ever? Because they can go through time. That's why. It's random shit like that.
Glorious War says I'd pay more for better specs at 500 and 400 because in 2013 we got a really weak CPU in those consoles. But here's the thing: you're an informed customer, dude. These other motherfuckers ain't. You know,
the evangelists are.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing isn't like, look, the way that this kind of shit happens through the market isn't straight media saturation. It is the evangelist. Part of Xbox marketing strategy is the Xbox. It is getting people so hyped up about your brand that they go out and preach. And what is the number one thing that was being preached by Xbox evangelists at the beginning of this generation was specs and power. And that led to news articles about it. Where
not at the beginning of the generation.
Yeah, they were like, hey, I can't tell the difference between 900p and 1080p. That was all the shit they were saying, you know?
But that was still a discussion because people were talking about specs. I'm not saying that it's going to be the most prevalent thing, but if you think that people aren't going to be able to recognize that, you know, like
some people will,
even if it just comes down to like, dude, this console seems more expensive. Like, well, yeah, didn't you hear about all the chips and stuff going up because of cryptocurrency? Like that is a half-baked, misinformed idea, but it's still prevalent. Every asshole knows that computers are more expensive for some reason because of Bitcoin. They don't know why. They don't understand how. They just know that computers got more expensive because of Bitcoin. My neighbor's doing that.
Man, the only chips they know about is potato chips, man.
They know their neighbor or their nephew or whatever is fucking data mining, and they have no idea what it is. There's just a fancy computer thing, and they use a lot of electricity, but for some reason somehow that's making computers more expensive. Like you don't have to understand the minutia of it to understand. Like I don't know, I'm not saying that it's excusable, but at the same time, I think to a certain extent, as an informed customer, it's reasonable to like, yeah, components are more expensive right now. The market has hit a high point. And I think if that's the message that's being sent down the tubes, that a lot of people just be like, well, I mean, if I have to pay, if that's what they cost these days, that's what they cost these days. It just matters if both Xbox and Sony, if they both come out with $500 systems, then the whole industry will be like, okay. People are just gonna be like,
Oh, that's a good point. If they both come out with the $500, people are like, okay, I guess that's what they cost now. No, you're right about that. That's a great point. But I think one of them is gonna be like, yo, let's launch our shit for 400.
So
yeah,
that's how they'll save their ass.
But I'm glad you made that point, because think about it this: why do you think we pay $60 for games? Because everybody else is putting out $60 games. It's like, oh, I guess that's what we got to pay. If games were $70, I'd be like, okay, I guess that's what we're paying now. Go ahead, Carlos.
Like how they used to be.
Yeah, man, that's right.
Sony hasn't released a $500 PlayStation console at launch and failed.
600, remember?
Well, yeah, even the worst case scenario was the PlayStation 3, and it still succeeded.
Yeah, that is true. In the end,
In the end, but they dropped the price also.
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Oh, Carlos, man, no, son, no.
It doesn't matter.
No, don't say it. Don't
be that guy, man.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
And I got the song stuck in my head. Actually, by the way, I'm an idiot. I did buy the PlayStation 3 at $500. That was the price drop. Yeah, I don't know. Again, this guy said that Anthem is going to be delayed. Let's see if that's true. Then maybe his PlayStation thing. But like Brett, like you said, some of the shit we kind of already expected. He said, "Oh, PlayStation experience is going to be back in 2019." Yeah, no shit. No shit.
There is a long list of things that Sony can do for their next console for it to fail, and giving it a $500 price point, even if the cheapest one is $500, that's way down on the list of things that can bring it down.
Yeah. By the way, Glorious Word, yes. We understand that you have to take inflation into account. Regular Joe Blow guys will not.
Yeah, they're not gonna give a shit about it. They're like, does it play the games? Yeah. Okay. How much is it? Fuck that shit. I'm buying something else.
I'm buying a Switch.
Yeah.
Regular Joe Blow has only bought one other system in their life, according to the market.
Yeah. It's
one,
crazy.
maybe two. So they may have only bought last PlayStation. The last PlayStation was like, didn't I pay $400 for the last one?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it is new. I guess things are more expensive now.
Maybe.
I don't think it's that hard to pill some people. If don't get me wrong, I still agree. If somebody undercuts somebody else by $100, that's bad. But I don't think just the strict nature of $500 means people go like, I'm throwing up my hands and I'm quitting gaming now.
Well, the thing is that we're also talking about a world where people were complaining about a $500 console when they spend almost $900 on their fucking phone.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but you can call for 911 in an emergency. You can't do that on a console.
Yo, man. According to Xbox, you can order a fucking pizza. Call the pizza place.
Pizza's not calling the fire department for me if my house is burning.
Were phones $900 back then?
Maybe $800.
It was they were like $800.
There's always a high end depending on the space. If you wanted the iPhone.
Actually, no. There was like $600.
No,
Let's
dude,
just be honest.
No, it was higher than
starting with $600.
It was higher than starting at $600, but it was higher than the thing. Especially when people were buying the new iPhone, right? The newest iPhone at the time of the PlayStation
not
4. 8
years ago.
I meant the PlayStation. Yes, it was the PlayStation
They've written
4.
articles about
We could look this up, by the way.
The newest iPhone at the time of the PlayStation 4 was more than that. It was more than a PlayStation 4.
Let me pull.
Yeah, but it was not $900.
It wasn't $900. It wasn't $900.
That's an exaggeration.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's a good point though.
The iPhone X is $1,000, but no, I've never seen a phone over $600. No way.
It's been over.
Carlos,
How much
you
phones
idiot.
increase in price every generation? People pay $200 more for each iPhone than they did for the last fucking iPhone.
I bought the iPhone 10X Max. I'm still paying for that shit.
Damn, man, what
See,
the
they
fuck?
were $500, then they were $600, then they were
Why are you
$800,
buying
then they
Apple,
were
son?
$1,000. Now they're $1,200. People will pay more. They just it's the weirdest thing, but
they don't pay up.
You can't pay layaway on a fucking console, bro.
There's also that part of it where you don't. Most people don't buy an iPhone or their cell phone right off the bat with the amount of money that.
Well, and that's what Microsoft was talking about when they were saying that they were going to do payment plans. Remember, they're talking about monthly installments and stuff. Be like, what the hell? They're trying to treat it like a phone. Well, there you go. That's how they can smooth in that deal of if the prices are going up. It's like, yeah, but you only have to pay $12 a month.
What if somebody like Microsoft put out this crazy ass console, right, and then they gave you a layaway plan on it?
I wish we can go back to the days where those companies would just tell you to get a second job.
Yeah, I miss those days, bro.
Now they tell you to mine some Bitcoin.
Nowadays, they'll sell you a discount console that's bundled with a subscription service tied to a credit. So, like, yeah, you can get the $300 version,
Yeah.
but it comes with an agreement to pay or to pay for no less than 36 months of PS Plus at full price with no discount options, and you're locked into it. You think that they would be above that kind of shit? I don't think so for a goddamn second.
That's an interesting proposition. It's like,
dude, watch Microsoft do it. They're already doing a service. I swear to God, I've seen things like that. Like, you get a discount on your Xbox if you buy so much Xbox Live at the beginning.
I've seen things you people would not believe.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, like I said, we'll watch out for February, see if this Anthem was late, and we'll see if these other rumors pan out. Let's move on here. Brett, I threw this one here specifically for you, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so Fallout 76 UK sales are down over 80%, man. Physical, no digital in this. So what's your take on that?
That it's not selling very well.
Why isn't it selling very well?
I think because it got review bombed so early. I think the nature of the game being that it was, a lot of people did understand, like, hey, this game is different. So even amongst people I was talking to, if I was like, hey man, you picking up Fallout? They're like, I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna wait and see. Like, it wasn't a game a lot of people pre-ordered. And so then as soon as it's released, it just gets review bombed. The review bombing gets picked up by the media, and all anybody hears is, again, the distilled version of it is, well, man, I heard that game sucks. Like, really? Can you tell me anything about why you heard that or why you feel that way? Like, oh no, man, I just heard people say it sucks.
I heard the glitches. I know a lot of people that were like, yeah, I heard it had a lot of bugs and it's not working right. It's like, well, yeah, server, yeah. It always has a lot of bugs. That's not new to their games, but yeah.
Actually, it's running
empty world. That's what I hear from the reviewers, though. Empty world.
The reviewers were playing it before it was online.
Empty world. Even now, though, it's like empty world.
See, I don't understand that. Like, I literally ran into the problem where I was trying to find a secluded place to put my camp, and I can't go more than 100 paces in any goddamn direction without finding, like, a house full of ghouls or an old hardware store, like some point that's spawning enemies and loot and doing stuff. Like, there's all kinds of attractions. My quest log is so full it takes up half my goddamn screen. I keep getting sidetracked when I'm trying to do one quest by another quest, and for some reason that surprises me. And I keep being like, oh yeah, it's Fallout. It's ADD inducing.
I don't know. Empty world.
So I honestly don't understand a lot of the criticisms.
Empty world. The Eurogamer one was, oh man, dude, as if they had like a gripe against them. Like, oh, that was harsh. The whole thing was harsh.
Eurogamer is British, and they don't pull any punches.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to go back to something, Brett. So you honestly don't understand all the criticism.
No. Well, do I understand that people are ill-informed and they throw a tantrum the second somebody delivers something that wasn't exactly to their expectations, even though it fully succeeded as a product on its own? Yeah. Do I think any of the reactions are justified? No. It's a sideline Fallout game. For people who are like, well, the game doesn't look significantly better. It's online, and it's a sideline Fallout game. I felt like they reused assets. Again, it's a sideline Fallout game born out of Fallout 4. If you're expecting anything other than an expansion of Fallout 4 with multiplayer, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. And if you think that it's a big open world, then I don't know how you're playing on some servers, I guess, with no people. I keep running into people. I'm having weird reaction or interactions with people, and they've actually done really cool balance.
I feel like you always have those type of things. It's only me. Because it's like other people that play are like, yo, there's nothing here. I can't do anything. There's nobody. You see tons of videos of live streams of people like, why am I so alone? And other people in the chat saying, well, there's only 24 people per server, so you're gonna be alone.
Actually, I've heard the opposite on the forums that I've kind of been on. People are like, dude, like, I kind of there are people saying, I was looking forward to the solo Fallout experience of wandering through the wastes and doing all this stuff, and I can't honestly. I keep getting my immersion broken because other people keep wandering in. Like, some people are actually disappointed because even if they want to play it like a single player game, they keep running into too many people for it to feel like any type of single player game. So I don't understand how you can complain on both ends.
Well, that's
obviously
the
somebody
complaint.
is.
Yeah, that's the complaint, that it's doing too much. It's trying to do one end and trying to do the other end, and it's not doing either great. So,
that's what I again, maybe it's just that I make my own fun for the most part, but I don't even think that that's it. Like that does help. But I built a cabin and I put it on roadways, and people drop by, and I have a little table and I stand behind and I trade for them. Like I had a great experience of somebody coming through. I really wanted to get a clean.
You have to stream this. You have to stream this, and then we'll spam it to the world, so that way you could evangelize it. And people are like, look at him, look how he's playing it, look at his experience, because they're not seeing this. The masses are not seeing this.
Just how to play properly.
Here's what I boil the whole thing down to. People weren't ready for a genre shift. And I don't know how Bethesda could have been more clear about what this was. It seems to me the only way to make all of these people happy would have been to have never made this game. Like, I don't see how this game existing can do anything but upset some of the people that are complaining.
I think it's not the fact that this game existing. I think it's the fact that they expected a Fallout experience. Like a genuine full experience.
Full experience.
Again,
online.
Joe Blow buys his game expecting the same Fallout he got.
They hear the name. They hear the name Fallout. I mean, because to be honest, there's no other differentiation, no obvious differentiation between this and any other one. There was a game called Fallout. There was a game called Fallout Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm. New Vegas,
and called New Vegas. What is that? How does that separate it from the other Fallout games? There's nothing that does it. So
do you just not call it Fallout at all?
No, you call it Fallout Online.
There you go.
Plain and simple. Make it as dumb as possible, because as soon as somebody hears that, they'll be like, "Oh, now I get it."
Because remember, Fallout, the one thing that everyone kept saying was like they were championing them for still doing single player games. They're like, "Well, all these other people are doing multiplayer. You guys are sticking by it. You're doing single player." And I remember even at that event, they were like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, working on this new game, it's multiplayer." It's like, oh, all right. Well, it's going to be the experience just online. Okay, Fallout with everything that we're expecting online. No, it's not. You'll see. You'll like it. Okay, thank you.
Well, okay. So like, my response to the criticism, the biggest complaint when everybody says, the world feels empty or the world feels alone, or the only thing that's going to satisfy them is a wealth of storytelling NPCs.
Mm-hmm.
And I see issues with that. First of all, in testing, they had problems with people being able to tell NPCs from other players, and that was causing all kinds of troublesome interactions where you go over to like wave to somebody and all of a sudden swarms of people come down on you. People were actually complaining. So that's why they made the decision to reskin the Raiders as a new faction called the Scorched, which are essentially sentient ghouls that act just like Raiders, except they look like they have no skin.
Right. So here's a good question, because no one's even talking about this. Everybody's shitting on this game. What do you think they can do to fix it now?
Honestly, I think it's just going to take a little bit of time for people to shift. My hope is that the game doesn't languish. It's very social media friendly in the sense that these types of games generally are slow burners. People tend to do cool stuff and take pictures of it, or have good experiences and post about it, or post their bases or that kind of thing. That's what made Rust so big, even the lack of any kind of advertising, the fact that it was released as a completely broken game. So at this point, with the huge fallout surrounding this game, I think its best opportunity is to do what Division did and just keep plugging away with solid contents. They just released like a 30 gig patch for like bug fixes and optimization. They're working hard on a lot of the stuff. The game works surprisingly well, especially for what it is. Like, again, I think a lot of the problems are nobody's played an online game before. Nobody's like, people are like, why do I have to drink in this game? Like, do you not know what a survival game is? Like, no, that's annoying. 1 out of 5 stars. Like, it's just, there's going to be a transition that needs to happen. And I knew that was going to happen because, as I've been saying, this is the first time a game like this has really been presented to the mainstream console audiences, and they're not really going to know what to do with it. I was not necessarily expecting quite the tantrum, and I think that has to do with the fact that so many people, think it's like, it's not Fallout. And I was like, well, I mean, they could name it Fallout Online is a good idea, but I think then people would have thought it was an MMO. So it's tough to put a label on this game, even though it's an online survival game. People don't know what that means.
Or they could call it Fallout Survival Online.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, because the
What
thing
if
is,
76 would have separated at least enough? They'd be like, okay, so
No,
why is it
because-
called 76?
well, the thing about it is that there's no obvious flag that's on there. You know, that really differentiates this thing. You know, I mean, it's like you know what Metal Gear Survive is about. It literally tells you what the damn game is about. And they don't even call it Solid Survive. They call it Metal Gear Survive. So you at least know in that situation, it's not going to be a Metal Gear game that you know.
Yeah.
So there has to be some sort of moniker on there that kind of brings that differentiation. Kind of like how Elder Scrolls Online is not called Elder Scrolls: The Fifth World. You know,
Yeah.
that doesn't tell anybody anything.
But the Elder Scrolls Online is an MMO.
It is an MMO, and what does it say? Online, right?
Yeah, this
It
game
gives you
isn't an MMO.
a warning as to what type of world you're going to be.
But he's
dealing
saying
with.
Fallout 76 is not an MMO, so calling it online would make people think it is an MMO. Understand?
Either way, the thing is that there still needs to be some sort of whether it's called online or survive or something like that. It needs some sort of moniker that really differentiates it from another chaptered version of Fallout.
Yeah. By the way, I want to read this comment. This is interesting. From GZDR Forever. People are forgetting a lot of the Sony fan base boycotted Fallout 76 because of Todd Howard threatening to keep future games from the console. Now with the low sales, his boss will tell him to keep his mouth closed. What do you guys think about that? You guys, I don't even know if they're even thinking about that. I don't think they even remember what Todd Howard said. Interesting take, though. I don't know about that, though. Interesting take, but I don't know.
I think only obsessive people remember that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, basically, I was like, oh yeah, that's true, but no one's really thinking about that.
Yeah, no one's boycotting the game because of the remarks that Todd Howard gave. People are boycotting the game because one, the game does have its flaws. Two, it's not the game that people were expecting it, and and Brett will say it's because of their fault because they didn't really study, and I would agree. And three, and the most important one, because the bandwagon is hot, and a lot of people are joining it.
Mm-hmm. I think it just boils down to a lot of people heard it sucks.
Yeah. By the way, Carlos, I'm going to put you on the spot right now, because you said you were going to get this game, but now not so much, right?
He's in Korea. He was in Korea. He didn't know.
No, he was talking about beforehand. He was talking about beforehand. You know.
Yo, man, you put in our shit in the public, man.
Yeah, I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it on the spot, motherfucker.
Well, so this is I'm not getting it anytime soon. Like I honestly don't think I'm ever gonna get it. But
Ooh.
You left me hanging, man.
Don't worry, it's gonna be $20 next month. So
here's the thing. So obviously I haven't been here for a while, and I got back, and now I have this huge ass fucking plate, the size of a fucking Thanksgiving dinner, of fucking Red Dead Redemption. I don't think I'm gonna finish this. I honestly, at the pace I'm going, I don't think I'm gonna finish this until probably New Year's. And I still have Assassin's Creed to play.
Excuse me?
And then after that, it's gonna be like the whole February Resident Evil 2 shit, and I'm like, I don't think I have time to play this game. And Fallout 76 is an online multiplayer game, so after a couple of months, if I see the trends going where not a lot of people are liking it, critics are panning it, the user base is the people are panning it. There's only a few people that actually really enjoy this game. I don't see a point of me getting it. The only thing that would make me want to get it is
it Brian gets it?
is if someone else other than Brett, so like three of us can play it. Yeah, that's maybe the only thing that would make me want to get it.
I do want to shift things a little bit because there's a conversation you and I had, Brett. I want to just bring it to the public now. Basically, you were talking about how you're upset over some of the reactions to this game because you feel that basically if people don't like this type of game, you're not going to get any more of it. You want to expand on that? Like that's your worry that we're not going to get these type of games because people just don't get it.
I'm afraid that people are going to read this as the market not being ready for survival games. And I feel that that's a real shame because I honestly and genuinely feel, even aside from all the Fallout geeking out, this game does a really good job. The best I've ever seen in any survival game, by far, hands down, of a lot of the mechanics to induce a certain type of player interaction. And it's just little things like the tag-based combat PvP system, where if you don't want to fight somebody, you can just walk away. The result of this is it makes it really easy for people to come up to you and try and interact with you. So instead of the entire server immediately turning toxic with it as soon as they learn how to play, it encourages interaction, exploration, that kind of thing. And the other cool thing, small minor things, like you can't trade bullets. And most of the vendors in the game won't give you very much for your items. And this is, I've come to find, to encourage players to actually trade amongst themselves. You know, the first night when the game came out, man, that shop was full. And ever since then, people have realized that you can get 3, 4, 5, 10 times as much from actually just trading with other players. And everybody needs something. And it's a pretty safe and convenient trading system. And so this has actually resulted in a lot of people interacting. I haven't had any weird, toxic run-ins with people. I've had a couple people try and shoot at me, but it was just the kind of thing you can easily brush off. The fact that your base logs out or when you log out, so that you don't have to worry about logging into the game like a chore to make sure that somebody didn't burn your goddamn house down while you were making your dinner. You can log out and you just know everything's safe. And if something does happen to your base, you have a whole blueprint system so that you can build it. I mean, all of these things are lacking in every other survival game, and it makes it quite a bit less tense. A lot of these times when you play these games, you have an online persistent world. You're not server jumping, so you make friends or enemies with your neighbors. I immediately stopped worrying about getting nuked because you jump from server to server. It's not like you're constantly fighting with one group of people over your land. So the chances of anybody wasting their nuke on bombing your base when instead they could create a high loot zone is pretty fucking negligible. So I think there's a lot of really cool mechanics in this game that I don't want to see die off. And I don't want to see this type of game not come to consoles anymore. But in order for that to happen, console gamers are going to have to accept some weird stuff. These games don't look as good. They're high. They demand put a lot of demand on performance. Every once in a while, you'll get latency or lag because it's an online game, and it's going to happen more than Destiny. Not game breaking, I don't think, because then again, I came from the days of Warcraft. I've played Ark. I've played Conan. I've played most of these games. And this game does the best job of any of those. So it's just sad to me that it's getting so critically panned by people who just obviously don't enjoy this type of game. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If it's not for you and you don't like it, then just walk away. You don't have to say that you hate it. There's a reason I say that The Witcher is a good game. There's a reason that I say Horizon is a good game. They're not for me. They don't really check off my boxes. But I can recognize that some people are going to have fun here. And there's a lot of skill and talent in those games. So rather than pitch a bitch fit to try and make a game that I'm not really interested in into something I want to play, I would like it if people just accept, like, hey, man, it's a sideline title. It's a survival game with a Fallout skin. And a shocking amount of Fallout is still surprisingly intact. So the game is what it is. If it's not for you, if you want this to be, especially the people saying, well, this game feels open and boring and empty. I have never had a survival game give me as much to do, to point me in directions, to give me as many quests and say, here, do this, to keep me constantly busy. So if you feel like this game is boring and open, then it can only mean that you're expecting a traditional Fallout experience. And if that's the case, wait for Fallout 5. They're going to make it. It's not like it's not in development. It's going to happen. So there's just no good reason for everybody to jump on this hate bandwagon, except for the fact that they have this weird idea that they never want to see this kind of thing made again. And that's just a weird place. Like we've talked about on the show before, like, don't jump on a hate bandwagon to try and ruin other people's fun when it has very little bearing to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Like, this game is obviously not for me, so I'm just like, I'm gonna wait for Fallout 5. That's what I'm doing. Notice how I haven't had any opinions on this game because I haven't played it. Not for me. Don't care. But Brett, this is the internet. You know how it is, man. People gotta hate. That's just how it is.
I know.
Yeah.
But it sucks that hate could actively ruin something that I'm really enjoying.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Here's the thing. I think these type of games will still exist, but the problem is they're probably going to go underground to the indie space. And as we talked about last week, you get mixed results with indie games.
That's where they've been. This is them trying to break out.
Okay, so they're going to go back.
Game genre. Yeah, it's a step backwards, and that's what makes me sad.
By the way, shout out to my man Sketch in the comments. He's saying that he's just not a fan of these games. He goes, "This is hot garbage in summer. I am going to hate. You're charging me full price for half a game." What do you make of that statement?
Oh, I apologize. I did not realize somebody broke into your house, put a gun to your head, and forced you to purchase this game. I would say you were robbed. That is true.
All right, Brett, remember when we talked about last week off air about how some people think you might be saying some blunt things? I think I get it now.
Well, look, if Bethesda had been quiet or not clear or didn't broadcast with a megaphone exactly what this game was, then I would understand it. But and I understand your frustration maybe in the sense that I have buyer's remorse. I spent $60. Yes, that's frustrating. But what about the question I would ask is, what about this game is so far different that you couldn't have figured it out from watching a few simple YouTube videos? And if you could have figured that out, why do you not take 5 minutes to investigate your purchase before you spend enough money that it would make you angry to lose?
I think a lot of people did watch those videos and thought, hey, it's just a beta. Once it comes out, it'll probably be filled with all kinds of shit.
They thought they were going to add human NPCs when Bethesda clearly said there are going to be no human NPCs.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that. But
you
thought
people thought there would be more. People just thought it was going to be more. You don't want to judge it based off of a beta.
But that's what I'm saying. The only things that aren't in it are the things that Bethesda said weren't going to be in it, or things that, at least to me, would like when people are complaining oh, the VAT system is in real time. Well, yeah, if you would have thought about that for 45 seconds, I think you would have come to realize that you can't have a slow-mo VAT system in a multiplayer game. It can't happen. I'm sorry if that's surprising and if that ruins the game for you and it makes you think that it's hot garbage. I don't really know what to say to that other than, well, yeah, I mean, you kind of should have expected that. So I don't understand why people feel so robbed. And maybe it's just me, but because I'm kind of like Manny, I investigate the things that I buy. If it's an amount of money I'm not going to be upset to lose, sure. If I'm like, sure, it's $5, I'll throw $5 in if I'm not sure about something. If I'm talking about $60, I would be a little unhappy to waste $60. So I go out of my way to make sure that when I spend that amount of money, I'm not going to regret it.
But I think that's the issue here is that people are watching these videos, and that's why they're pissed. And then we'll know if the sales are low that they didn't buy it. They just watch these reviews and say, "Hey, this is not what I wanted. I thought I wanted something like this, but then after seeing these guys play this game, realize this is not it."
I think you're going to get a lot of that. I think that's going to be a majority of people's reactions, and I think that's why it's not selling well. And honestly, that's fine. If this isn't your type of game, or if you're not sure about it, don't buy it. It's I can't express enough. This game is a new genre. If you've never played a racing game before, it's going to be tough to tell if you're going to enjoy a racing game. If you've never played a fighting game before and you're expecting an adventure game, and you're like, what is this shit? If they just put me in an arena and I just punch somebody and then it just blinks into the next fight, this game is hot garbage.
They need to hire that woman that does the voice work for Red Dead when she does explaining how to hunt and do all those things. Remember, they did that for the last Red Dead, and it was a man. Now this time it was a woman. They need that. Someone to just come and say, "Hey, in this game, what you do is you walk around, you explore, you find these little notes and robots."
They had animated cartoons.
It's not good enough. Sorry. Not good enough.
What?
Animated
instructional cartoons.
I'm just saying,
telling you what the game was.
A lot of people need their handheld on certain things, and I'm sorry, that's just the way it is.
How do you get more handholdy than a 1950s style info reel.
People don't relate.
You're going to be going
They
into
don't
the
relate.
wilderness.
Showing
don't
you,
relate.
actually demonstrating it as opposed to doing something
This
like
current generation don't know what the 1950s look like. They didn't grow up with Leave It to Beaver and stuff. That's fake. That's like a fake world. They're like, oh, I don't know that. What the hell are you talking about? They grew up with the internet, man.
Okay, so I guess here's my reverse ask to anybody in the chat who wants to answer. Like, what fooled you about this game?
Other than the fact that it was named a Fallout, and there was no moniker on it that said what it was.
It does have a moniker. It's not Fallout. It's not Fallout 5. It's Fallout 76.
What does 76 mean? What does that mean?
What does it mean? What makes that any different than Fallout New Vegas?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Fallout New Vegas wasn't a mainline franchise title either. It was made by Obsidian,
But it was still a fall. But the thing is that when
Fallout Shelter is called Fallout 2.
Yeah, but you realize New
No,
Vegas
it's called
is like,
Shelter.
it's like probably the most popular Fallout game. Like people consider that story like even superior to Fallout 3. Like that sideline game is more beloved than a mainline Fallout game, and it had NPCs. It had all the stuff people are looking for.
But
so I agree with Manny. What they needed to do was they needed to hit this home constantly, Brett. Like people you realize like Tony said, people didn't realize Call of Duty was for sale on PlayStation. Like that's what you're dealing with. If you're not hammering, you fucker, like you got to pay attention. Like people forget. People forget. They just look Fallout. Oh, it's the next Fallout.
People forget, or they just flat out don't know. By the way, I want to read some of these comments from my man Sketch because he's actually played the game, and I want your response to this, Brett. I'm just going to read all of these. I am not mad because Fallout 76 is an open world game. Trust me, I play mostly open world survival games like Rust, 7DTD, Planet Explorers, etc. This game is empty even with all those quests, but you are getting less than what you get from other games. People speak up because they are trying to warn others who are like-minded to not invest in it. Fallout titles put expectations on the game. If you would have called it anything else, no one would have been mad. But Fallout 76 gave people the idea that this would be Fallout Online, Fallout 4, but online. But so yeah, what do you make of all that? So he's a fan of these type of games. He doesn't like this game. Brett. Mr. Brett Murdoch.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute.
Okay.
When he says this game has less even with the quests, I'm not sure I follow. Like, objectively speaking, Rust is it literally has nothing. So this game, it has more than, like, I'm not following there. Read his response to me again.
My bad. Let's do this one by one. I am not mad because Fallout 76 is an open world. Trust me, I play mostly open world survival games like Rust, 7 Days to Die, Planet Explorers, etc. This game is empty even with all those quests, but you are getting less than what you get from those other games. So let's tackle that one first.
I'm not really sure what he means by getting less. Maybe he means like it's not one or the other, but it's kind of in the middle. Like Rust, you can, kick open somebody's base and do all kinds of other. I mean, you still can in this game, so I'm not really sure. Maybe he's just saying it doesn't give him the same Rust hardcore survival game experience. And I guess I would agree with that in the sense that, like, man, if you're a hardcore survival game enthusiast, this game is going to be a little light for you on some of those elements. But I'm not sure that I follow what he means when he says even with all that you get. The empty still boggles me. I was like, there's literally more landmarks and more shit to see. Like in Conan, it was literally just mountains and shit.
But here's the thing: more things to see, but what about more things to do? I think that's what people are talking about.
It has all the things that you could do. Like in Ark, there was just wilderness. There were roaming dinosaurs. There were no quest givers. There were no quests. There were no human NPCs. There were no environmental storytelling. There was no flavor narrative. There were no holotapes. There were none of that kind of shit.
So they're expecting that audience to buy this game? Is that what you're saying?
That is who this game is made for.
There you go. That's not Fallout.
Well, my man is a fan of those games, and he doesn't seem to like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't understand how it's empty compared to those.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to the Coalition TV who's joining us in the chat. What's going on? Probably Rich. What's going on, man? This is Gary staying up way past his bedtime, you know?
So, but I agree. Look, man, this game isn't for everybody. And
Yeah, he says Fallout 76 is the middle of the road. Actually, let me just read this directly. Basically, Fallout 76 to me is a middle of the road on many genres and master of none. Okay, that's what he says.
As somebody who plays survival games, I can absolutely understand why he feels that way. He's definitely going to be in the minority. I think most people think that the survival stuff is too much. And yeah, maybe there's the problem of people, hardcore survival fans, being brought over and be like, well, there's not as much here. I do want to be in the online all the time. I want to be able to kick down my neighbor's door and throw a grenade at him. And actually, you can do that in this game, but I'm not sure how much it matters. So yeah, no, look, the game isn't perfect. Man, I'm hesitant to where to even say from that, because I feel the game is pretty fucking. If I could just get the slight bugginess of the build system down, I'm just genuinely happy with the game. So is everybody that I'm talking to. So, but then again, of course, I'm not going to go into a place and be like, who here hates Fallout 76? So I assume that's kind of confident.
You're walking.
Oh man! By the way, I want to read some of the comments. It's Richards. Just be honest. My man Richard Beatty Jr. So he goes, people definitely didn't research what this game was beforehand. They all expected Fallout 5, and when they didn't get it, they got angry. Rather unfortunate, as I'm totally fine with what the game is and other offers. Remember, we had Rich on last week, and like Brett, he really likes the game. He also says, I'm pretty sure Bethesda does have a plan to add more content and support to the game over time. Take a game like Rainbow Six Siege, and you see how Ubisoft has supported the game to a point where people are still playing it today. This whole generation, developers have been releasing games as is, then adding more stuff to it afterwards. So this approach shouldn't surprise anyone, as it has been standard by many publishers. Brett, what do you think about that? That basically the game that you get now may not be the exact game you'll have next year. That'll be, for the lack of a better term, more robust next year with features. What do you think about that?
Makes sense.
It's always been on their roadmap to make this a long game that has continual updates. They kind of wanted to do what GTA did, but a little bit deeper, where they're adding new quest line, they're adding new content, they're adding new enemies, they're adding new weapons, they're having special events. They want to have this be a continual thing. They'd like to see this continue as the sideline online thing for Fallout as it goes forward, because again, this whole thing was born out of one of the biggest, most requested features for Bethesda was multiplayer. So they came out with Elder Scrolls Online, and people were like, this game is fucking trash. This isn't an Elder Scrolls game, which I guess in hindsight doesn't surprise me now, because it was an MMO, because you couldn't interact with everything in the environment, because it didn't have the kind of experience where you could just wander around and do whatever you want. It was very directed, it was very fetch questy, and it looked very much like an MMO. And so it had a lot of problems when it launched. And so they're like, okay, well, that really didn't hit the nail on the head. So people are still asking us for Skyrim and Fallout multiplayer. So we figured that we just make this Fallout multiplayer game. And then even by the time that Fallout 6 is coming out, this game should be existing in some new form. It'll continue to evolve, but it's supposedly here to stay. So that makes complete sense to me. That's been their game plan all along. Now, the question becomes, is the critical panning of this game going to reduce the amount of money being funneled into this? And is that going to choke out future content?
Yeah, that's a good question. By the way, this is kind of funny. He goes, Sketch says, I stalked my neighbor in Rust for 3 game days just to break into his house without knocking down walls and explosives. Interesting. All right, so we'll see what happens with Fallout 76, man. Very interesting what's going on. Let's move on here. I threw this story in here just because it's kind of silly and people were talking about it. Manny and I were talking about this earlier. Basically, this guy goes into a GameStop, and this is what the headline said. We'll get into that a little bit. So basically, the headline was, a guy tries to get a refund for Fallout 76, can't get it from GameStop, and he destroys the GameStop. There's some question as to whether it was Fallout 76.
It wasn't Fallout 76. The way I'm sure the way it really worked was that he was just there was nothing in that video said that he was doing Fallout 76. It's just he didn't have the receipt. So, the guy's like, yeah, I can't take back the game, and then the guy just busted the whole place down.
Yeah, like this video is weird to me, and please don't take this the wrong way. It's like on the one hand, I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You're like basically doing criminal shit, but at the same time, it was a little bit cathartic to see a GameStop getting fucked up like that.
Here's the thing: if you listen to the guy, man, the GameStop employee, he picks up the phone like nothing's happening.
Yeah,
Just
even though the guy destroyed it, like.
Even though, the guy is like, he destroyed the place. He stormed out. But the guy's like, hey, hello, well, this is GameStop, blah, 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 speaking, like normal. So he's just like, whatever.
Well, the guy in the other, I'd say that he's used to that, but I think he just couldn't show that up. But yeah, basically, for you guys who haven't seen it, this video went viral. This guy is online to, on the line at the clerk to get a receipt. Or money back from a game that he bought from GameStop. I don't know if it was Fallout 76. That's what the headlines say. He couldn't get his money back because he didn't have his receipt, and he proceeded to knock over everything in the GameStop. It went pretty viral. Adam, you saw the video, right? What'd you think of that shit?
I sent it to you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, what'd you think of that shit?
What are you talking about? I sent it the night before.
Yeah, actually, I saw that shit before. I saw that shit on my own. Yeah, but yeah, anyway, yeah. What'd you think of that, man?
I sent that shit.
No, I've seen a bunch of these.
Carlos said that shit last year, bro.
Yeah, exactly. It's an old video. I've seen a bunch of these type of videos where people just rage out in the store.
As a former software etc. employee, have you seen?
But it was a different time. That was early on. When they were like, hey, there's this new store that opened up called Funko Land, right? And they're doing these trade-ins. It was an early time. So there was really no raging out like this because there was nothing to rage about. It was like, all right, buy a video game and that's it. Can I return it? Yeah, get some money back, but you won't get. Oh, okay, whatever. So no, I've never experienced that, but it is what it is. It's that time. People rage out over all kinds of shit.
We know a couple people that used to work at GameStop.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to Robert Workman. He says, so what stupid stuff did Tony say thus far? Everything I said is stupid, man. By the way, Sketch goes, come on, that guy works at GameStop. He's ready to die. Put me out of my retail business.
He just said, but you know what it is? Because he probably was on his way out. He's like, you know what? I clock out in 5 minutes. I'm not cleaning this shit up. So I just got to go.
Yeah, by the way, we all agree with this. Even though, like, again, there's that little part of us is like, yeah, man, fuck GameStop. We all agree you shouldn't be doing that. That's just wrong.
Not in any store.
Come on, son. Don't do that, man. Yeah, we all agree with that. It's kind of stupid, but it was kind of funny though. So that video went viral. But so yeah, Manny, I find that funny. Everybody said, "Oh yeah, this is over Fallout 76," and you're telling me we don't actually know that?
No, we don't know that. It didn't say nowhere in there did it say it, except for the text, except for the text. And the text is that same post has appeared multiple times with different things on it.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to our wonderful moderator, Solitary Zombie. I know you like that watching that video. She knows GameStop.
She knows the woes of GameStop.
Yeah. Barry Burns says GameStop destroys employees' souls, so they are just withered husks that can only obey with muted reactions and rehearse corporate speak.
He sounds like he speaks from experience.
It's interesting. But yeah, it's like, guys, don't go. Like, GameStop is full of bullshit. We all know that. But don't go destroying their stores, man. They're just doing their job. Come on now.
Not a lot you can help with. Not a lot. I mean, those people at GameStop are probably under so much fucking stress as it is. Especially with the way they get paid, with all the different policies that they have to hit when they do that stuff.
You're not hurting GameStop corporate. You're just hurting the poor guy working at the counter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what's funny about that? It goes back to the whole thing of people are going, hey, should we boycott Rockstar because of the work hours? Like, okay, so you're not really going to be hurting the big guys. You're going to be hurting the little guys that work hundreds of hours a week. You're going
to be hurting the
sympathizing with. Now they're stressed out because now they got laid off because no one's buying the game.
That's crazy.
It's kind of a damned if you do and you damned if you don't sort of situation. If they're not buying the game, then that means that they're out of a job. So what it has to be is it's a joint effort. It has to be within the employees of the company as well as the people outside of it.
Yeah. Sketch, you crazy. Goes, that guy at the counter did owe me $350 though.
By the way, let you know, Sketch is a long time buddy of mine.
Oh, really? What's going on?
Yeah.
Sketch 6? Awesome. I like this guy already. GZDR says, yeah, remember those YouTube videos where they... What? No, I'm not reading that shit online. You crazy, bro. Oh, man. I don't really have anything to say. I just threw that story in there because I thought it was kind of amusing.
It's satisfying because you all want to do that.
You all want to do it. You want to go to GameStop and
There
bust
is one moment in any store, no matter, in any store where they just this fucking piss you off.
Yeah.
You know?
But please do not do that.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not give in to your anger.
Yeah, right. Oh man. All right. And last one. This might get interesting. Gotta talk about this, man. Somebody that we've had on the show before, Mr. YongYea, had a little bit of a, I guess, tussle with Jason Schreier this week. Okay, so basically, let's go back a little bit. So we were asked about this on Sunday's show by Mr. Wiz. He was like, "Did you guys see the video with YongYea and Jason Schreier?" And here's the thing, Wiz, we appreciate the question, but literally that video went up like an hour before we started recording, so we couldn't have possibly watched it. Some of us watched it in here, and basically it was YongYea. Who's a big YouTuber. Again, we've had him on the show. He was talking to Jason Schreier, who a lot of people, even I consider like an actual, like legit gaming journalist. Like he goes in there and he digs up a bunch of shit. So he had him on the show. YongYea had him on his show because Jason Schreier, he doesn't really have a high opinion of YouTubers, right? He doesn't really think too much of them. So he had him on the show to kind of clear the air about some things. And I personally thought it was a pretty good episode, right? The problem was directly afterwards what happened. Basically, they had this nice discourse between the two, kind of sort of came to an agreement on how game journalists and fans should kind of, treat with each other. And then not even 5 minutes passes before this episode airs that Jason Schreier's like, oh, this comment section is full of anti-Semitic, hateful replies. Like, and YongYea needs to really think hard about his fan base. It's like, bro, so all that nice constructive, conversation you guys just had, it all boils down to some shitty comments. Really, bro? What the fuck? So yeah, Manny, I know you saw it too. What do you think of this whole thing?
He should know better. He should know better than anybody, especially since Kotaku has a comment section. People are gonna say whatever the hell they have on their mind. So, okay, so what are you gonna do? Just look at all the bad comments and say everybody's fucking toxic? That's not the way it goes. There's if you looked at that comment section, there was all kinds of different types of ones. There was ones that were like, this was a great conversation. I really liked it. There was all kinds of different things that happened in there. Yes, people are gonna be pissy. People are gonna have vendettas. It's a fucking comment section.
Yeah. By the way, just to go back a little bit, the heart of the conversation concerned microtransactions and all that, because basically Jason Schreier, he pretty bluntly said that the people complaining about microtransactions in games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey need to shut up. He basically said that. And YongYea says like, no, these are paying customers. They're allowed to air their grievances, and here's the thing. It's weird. I'm going to just flat out say it. I always respected Jason Schreier as a journalist, and I still do, but I have lost a lot of respect for him as a person. The way he talks about fans, like he does not regard them at all. And YongYea even said this on his show. He's like, why is it that when a gaming company does something that's fucked up, you give them the benefit of the doubt? You want to see both sides of it. And Jason does that very well. He takes both sides of this. But when it comes to fans, he only sees one side. They're a bunch of fucking idiots. That's the only side he sees, So I'm glad that Yang brought that up. It's like, why are you not giving these guys, the guys that go to the websites that buy the games, why are you not giving the benefit of that, but you're giving all these other companies the benefit of the doubt?
You're essentially your readers.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole other thing. We've talked about numerous times on the show. It's like, if you're a website that is catering to gamers, why are you shitting on these gamers? You know, and that's something YongYea was talking about. It's like, why are you basically crapping on your fan base? You know, that again, this is something we talk about all the time. You know, but
well, I mean, in general, you know, like sites like Kotaku are not really interested in fostering a community anymore. They're more interested in getting people, you know, to click on their articles and make them money. That's they're a business. That's the way it works. But I think that's the big difference between a YouTuber and a you know, site journalist. A site journalist is there to do the job and get you to look at their articles, rather than a YouTuber in general is supposed to be somebody like everybody else. So everybody like you and me and everybody else out there, and that's how these, you know, a lot of YouTubers have come to fame. They've built these sorts of these you know, these of you know, fans and stuff like that who consistently go to their sites because they trust them.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and I've said this myself. It's like with YouTubers, and I'm talking now as a, you know, journalist that does write. It is a little frustrating where these YouTubers kind of they don't really have the same, they're not up to the same standards as I am. Like, if I say something crazy, I'm going to really be raked over coals. YouTubers can kind of get away with it, but at the same time, those guys are the future. And I'm saying this as a journalist that writes. Those guys are the future. Like, we are kind of a dying breed here. And I think that fact, which a lot of these guys will probably not admit, but it's just a fact, YouTubers and those types are the future. They kind of feel threatened. So I think that's why perhaps Jason has that kind of attitude, you know. Go ahead, Adam.
Well, that's why a lot of them are getting hired by like IGN and all the other big ones. They're picking these YouTubers because they have such big followings. And like, shit, they're coming in not just with whatever skills they have, but they're coming in with clicks.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. But then again, you got to be careful, right, Adam? Philip Mewson, do I need to say anything more?
You know. But I mean, the whole thing with microtransactions, I did a story about that fucking almost 10 years ago.
Damn.
When it first started popping up and people disregarded it. They laughed at me and they were like, yeah, you're talking bullshit. So I stopped talking about it. But it's not an issue. I don't see it as an issue. Loot box is an issue, but microtransactions, I don't see it as an issue. If it's a direct buy of something, if I want a jacket and I can see I can get it for like 99 cents on me, okay, that's my choice. Now, if it's in a loot box and I don't know what I'm getting, that's a ripoff. You know, so
there's a bit of that thing that, you know, that happens with, you know, a stigma that happens with the word microtransaction, where there is no differentiation between them.
Yeah.
When people hear the fact that there is some sort of microtransaction, they want to go and attack it. And I think this is this is one of those situations where it's like, obviously, I mean, you know, also I feel like Jason Schreier did choose to didn't use a proper way to say this to people, where when it concerns the Assassin's Creed microtransactions.
No, I agree with that. Basically, you know, and we've covered this ourselves. Basically, if you play Assassin's Creed Odyssey and you do all the side quests, you're not really going to feel the basically the game gets really hard at the end of the game, right? If you play the game with all the side quests, you're not really going to notice that. But let's just say you only follow the story path, right? You're going to hit a point where you're going to be like, fuck, I need to buy these XP boosts now just so I could be up to that certain level, you know? The way he played it, and probably the way I would play it, I wouldn't notice that. If Origins had this, I didn't notice it either because I did everything. But at the same time, it's like, listen, if people want to play this game, you know, linearly, you can't have these like I guess XP gaps in there, you know, that's gonna stop them unless they buy the fucking thing. So I totally understand where people are coming from. You know, I don't like that at all. And mainly, like you said, you've been saying this for years. That shit has been on cell phones forever. Now it's coming over to AAA games, you know.
Well, and then the thing is, we're talking about old microtransactions. This thing that's in the new Assassin's Creed game is not a new thing.
No, it's not at all.
It was in Dante's Inferno. The same thing, where it was essentially an XP boost thing, and then you could buy a bunch of moves and all kinds of other things to speed up your progress through the game. So I don't have a problem with a microtransaction that lives in that sort of space. I do have I think the issue with certain microtransactions, like the ones in Shadow of War, which literally gimped the whole game. I have a problem with the ones that the loot boxes where they're essentially trying to get you to continuously buy these things, even if you don't have the chance to get it. I think those things are problems.
Yeah, but
I think
no, go ahead.
But I think that I don't think that the Assassin's Creed one is a case to get insane about. But going back to the YongYea thing,
yeah,
I do think that this was a really good thing, because it was in the beginning, the way it started was like, there is not a lot of discord that happens between fans and YouTubers and games journalists. A lot of people tend to try to point fingers at each other and not at least try to sit in the same room as the people that they might be criticizing or have a different opinion with. And to be honest, I think that it takes a lot of strength and a lot of strength to do that sort of thing. I'm glad that they decided to do it, but I am disappointed that Jason Schreier turned this into something else immediately after. He could have also, at the same point in time, he also could have brought this same concern that he had posted about on Twitter with Young on the show, as opposed to waiting until not long after to comment.
Well, he didn't see the comments until afterwards. By the way, just so in case you guys know, they did hash it out afterwards. But I'm like, why didn't you do it privately in the first place?
Yeah, to be honest, that should have been something that he posted in public. It should have been something they talked about, like, hey, Young man, those comments are fucking nuts, but it turned out it sounded like a snide comment and a criticism of Young and his fan base. And to be honest, again, not everybody's a good egg. There's sometimes you're going to have a bad egg in there.
We get a bunch of stupid comments too. Are we responsible for all of them? No, we're not.
Unfortunately,
I don't like. Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
Let's say if we had somebody here from, I don't know, another Joe Schmo podcast, and Joe Schmo's podcast on, and people in the chat say, "Yo, Joe Schmo, you a piece of shit, Joe Schmo. I'm gonna fucking cut your nickels off and your nipples," and then it's like, they would say, "Yo, your Throwdown people are crazy. Your fans they're attacking me. They're not just saying shit. They want to hurt me." Then I can understand why they would relate the fans to the show, because they're like, well, they're attacking me because of you. They're using your name, your banner to attack me. So I can get that.
Yeah, man. But again, I just I was disappointed with Jason. I was like, dude, you didn't have to start attacking. He didn't. It wasn't really attack. It was more of a passive aggressive thing, But even during the interview, I just got this feeling that he just doesn't really have much care for the fans. He just dismissed all their basically he was talking about the whole Blizzard thing. We talked about that. He basically said he didn't like the fact that those guys went up there and just started making those or asking those rude questions. I'm like, dude, they paid hundreds of maybe thousands of dollars, man. They have the right to do that.
Well,
yeah.
You know why that is, right?
Why?
Because I'm pretty sure Jason Schreier is friendly with a lot of those people, and he's like, they're probably friends. He's probably friends with some of those people, and he just thinks, they're just senselessly attacking people that I know and I respect.
It's not it's attacking. This is entitlement. He is the embodiment of entitlement, of game journalism entitlement, and corporate entitlement. Fuck them. We don't have to bow to authority. No one has to bow their head and go, "Oh, thank you for this, Diablo Immortal." Fuck that. Take that game and shove it up your ass. Those people pay thousands of dollars to be there. They have every right to go up there. Is this an April Fool's joke? Well, then take your phone and shove it up your ass. I don't want that shit.
It's as if they want everyone just to cheer. It's like, you can't boo. Why? It's if I could cheer, I could.
Yeah, they're saying that's rude. It's like, dude, what the hell, man? The people are allowed to say if they're paying customers, come on.
I think
he deserves it. Fuck that guy. If people if you can't deal with it, I thought you were a busy journalist. You're too busy reading comments on YongYea's things, saying things like Hitler was right. Don't you have a life? Go fucking do your job. You're too busy crying over comments made about you, and you show you can't handle it. You're supposed to have a thick skin when you get up there. Fuck this guy.
Yeah. By the way, I'm just gonna read what Robert says here. He goes, he's not a fan of Schreier. He's kind of finicky at events, And he goes, I'm a nicer. Yeah, see, Robert Workman, perfect example of how a game journalist should be. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying it because he's my friend. It's just, and Robert's like me. It's like, we do our job, but we're also gamers and we respect, fans' opinions, We don't dismiss them out of hand. Like, we dismiss dumb stuff, but if you're paying all this money to go to this, BlizzCon, and these guys, again, remember, this is the part people don't talk about it often. These guys, for months, were like, we're going to have a big Diablo announcement. We're going to have a big Diablo announcement. What do you guys think they're thinking? They're thinking Diablo 4, right? No, they get this mobile game. A PC-centric audience. Come on, son.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I didn't find any of those questions disrespectful. Like, that one question was just funny. It's like, is this an off-season joke? There was nothing really disrespectful there, I'm totally not with disrespectful shit like that, but they were pretty respectful, despite everything.
It was the boos. They were like, "Oh, why were they booing? You can't boo
You
developers."
can't
Yeah,
boo now? Come on, get the fuck out. Of course you could boo.
Come on now.
Listen, you're on the court of when you put yourself out there, you're on the court of public opinion. And
That's it.
if the public is not digging what you're selling, I don't know. I mean, that means that you misread the public.
Yeah, it's just so they're all hypocrites, because at the same time these guys will say, "Oh well," they wouldn't say, when you hear these guys doing all their comments online, they would never say it to the person's face. They're always two-faced on it. Well, here it is face to face, and they're saying it, and then now you're bitching about it.
Yeah. By the way, that's something Jason Schreier said, and that's actually, basically he said that Stephen Totillo, who is his editor-in-chief, says that don't say anything in your article or online that you wouldn't say to somebody's face. That's something I hold to, but these guys said it to these guys' faces, so
that's it. They said
what are you
it.
going to say? By the way, Chris, you'll like this comment from, the Rich. He goes, Chris versus Jason Schreier at E3 2019. Let's make it happen. That would be brutal. Chris would destroy him.
That guy doesn't want to debate me. I make him cry, man.
But again,
I believe that.
Yeah. Oh man. Again, it's tough because I'm like, on the one hand, I'm like, Jason Schreier is a fucking badass journalist. Like, he actually investigates. But as a person, sorry, bro.
He just has a different view. That's all. Can't hate him for it.
Listen. He can have a different view, but I just don't like the fact that he talks down to fans like that and he disrespects them like that. Don't get me wrong. Not all. Some fans don't deserve your respect, but most of them do. Especially since they give you your money at the end of the day. Let's just be honest.
Like we said before, like he's in the industry. I'm sure a lot of his friends are developers and stuff, so he sees the back end and how important it is for microtransactions to keep a team together and keep people employed. So when he hears people keep bitching about why microtransaction, why this, and he sees his friends slaving at work long hours to make certain DLC come true, then it's like, hey, what do you want? You start bitching about the layoffs. Well, this is how they avoid layoffs.
Here's my thing. He said that he doesn't like the fact that he feels like gamer rage is at an all-time high now, even though games are like at the best they've ever been. My thing is like, why can't we, like, you could simultaneously be happy that games are great and still be pissed off at something. They're not mutually exclusive.
Right. Yeah. The rage isn't against the games that are quality. Nobody's mad at Red Dead Redemption 2. People are mad at Diablo Immortal because it is a fucking mobile cash grab, and it was obvious. And they made people like BlizzCon is a filter. You have to be the hardest of the hardcore to put down thousands of dollars for hotels, flights, whatever. Go there and sit there like, oh shit, I'm going to see Diablo. This is going to be great. And then they show you that shit. Right? Those aren't just fans, right? Fans could be sitting at home watching YouTube and going, geez, that's a piece of shit. Those are the hardcore guys. Those were your loyal.
This is your audience. This is who you want to listen to.
Yeah. By the way, I need
spending $60. They're spending thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
These are the whales.
Yeah. By the way, Robert, thank you. He goes, the thing is, it's not for them, and Blizzard should have probably understood that before showing it to the wrong audience. And Robert, I like you said that because let's just be honest here. And Chris, I know you can agree with me. You know who that was for? That wasn't for the audience. That was for the shareholders. That's who that was for.
That was totally a shareholder move. But the thing is that, just like Bethesda being in their knowledge and their smartness, they gave you that they showed you Fallout Shelter like last year, right? But then they put something on the other side of that, or something that everybody was going to enjoy.
I still believe
Fallout 76.
By the way, I still believe if
they even prefaced that this year when they said, "Oh yeah, Fallout 76," and they were like, "Oh well, we also have the new Fallout we're working on."
I still think a lot of this could have been mitigated if they would have said, "Oh yeah, by the way, Diablo 4 is coming," but since it's for shareholders, they couldn't share that information yet, which is insane. You know?
Yeah, but then to expect that your audience is in jive with your shareholders, some guy who's going, "Do you see how much money the mobile market's making? What are we doing in the mobile space? What are you guys doing?" And then you take that and you put that in front of people who are like, "What the fuck is this shit? I gave up PC. I just bought a fucking 2080 a card for like 2,000. This is what you're giving me? Fuck that shit."
Yeah. Also, if the game would have been available on PC, people would be like, "Oh, I don't want it, but whatever. Sure."
And that was one of the questions too asked. It was like, "Well, is this ever coming to PC?" It was like, "No, but it'll come to your tablet."
This announcement
was not. And they were like, "Boo!"
Yeah. But again, this announcement was not for the fans. They were for the shareholders. That's what it was for. You know. But yeah. Anyway, I do encourage you guys to please check out the video that YongYea put out. It's a really good interview. It's just sad what became of it. You know.
Yeah. Since just also to give you an update on that, because after
Schreier did walk back what he said though.
After he did walk back what he said, and he deleted that original comment, which I'm glad that he did, but I do feel like that sort of conversation we didn't need to see that conversation as the public.
And again, even though I'm not exactly a big fan of Jason Schreier now, I do, just to be fair, I do have to give him a little bit of props.
Whose channel was it on?
By the way, Adam,
it was on YongYea's.
Yeah, it was on YongYea's channel. Yeah, YongYea's channel.
So it's his idea then.
Yeah. Even though Jason Schreier called him a provocateur, but anyway, but at the same time, Jason Schreier, at least he's been on the Weapon Wheel podcast. He's been on YongYea, so he's willing to go on these channels. So that's good, even though he clearly does not like YouTubers, But, bro, he needs to, he wants to talk about how YongYea needs to really think long and hard about his fans. He needs to think long and hard about how he views, YouTubers and other fans in general,
And YongYea can't control his fans.
He can't.
Nobody can. Yeah. Nobody can control what people are going to say. Anybody could jump in the channel and
hate that.
Pull their dick out. You can't control that.
Yeah, I hate that whole guilt by association shit. You know what I'm saying, Chris? It's like, you can't control your fucking fans. They're going to say what they're going to say. And who's to say they're your fans in the first place? They're just YouTubers saying shit.
Yeah. How do you know that person was just somebody who hates fucking Jason Schreier and saw that he was, on this thing and decided, "Oh, I'm gonna say some fucked up shit on here to piss him off, to trigger him."
Yeah, I mean, like, look, he gets hate in his comments too. You go on Kotaku on his articles, he gets that hate too. I don't see what the difference is. That guy could have followed you right off of Kotaku comments right onto YongYea's thing, and you're going, "Oh, you got the hate-filled trolls in here." Those guys are on Kotaku.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, if it by that same sort of logic, you would say, okay, so what does that mean, that you, Jason Schreier, are responsible for all the hateful comments that happen on your site?
Yeah, come on, man. Like, I'm not gonna hold you responsible for whatever the fuck they say on Kotaku. Those are just people talking shit. Let me just read some comments here from, by the way, Robert, we're going to have you on before the year's over, man. Just Robert's one of our favorite guests. He goes, "Some people rub me the wrong way too, but I remember to be courteous." Exactly.
Exactly.
And he goes, "You are representing your outlet. You come across like a pompous jackass. How do you think that makes the site look?" That's well said, my friend. Well said. Oh, man. All right. We're going to wrap this up, but before we do that, what games have we been playing lately, people? Let's do that. Manny, you been playing anything?
No, but I did install Red Dead Redemption. It's installed on the Seagate solid state hard drive that you gave me over the weekend.
Shout out to Seagate,
Yeah. The fun thing is that Tony gave me the Xbox one, so it's kind of funny. Like, my PlayStation is running games off of an Xbox branded hard drive. Ooh.
Yep.
But man, I took a photo of it when I started installing it. If you saw the amount of hours that it calculated at first, it said it was going to take like 6 hours to install that damn thing. Didn't take that long. Install Red Dead. You know how like it gives you like, if you press like the X button, you can see the little meters and see how much of it's going in. And then it's like in the beginning, it said 6 hours. I'm like, oh, what is this? But yeah, it didn't take nearly that long. But yeah, I played just like a couple of less than an hour of it. I'm still at the beginning. I saved John Marston. So yeah, there's that little bit after, and that's where I stopped. I really want to go back and finish off God of War before I even delve into Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, that's a good idea, to be honest. All right, so by the way, again, shout out to Seagate. They gave me that to review.
Yeah, it's that is a cool thing. Like I obviously, by the way, Red Dead takes up a lot of that hard drive.
Oh, really?
It takes up a lot of it. Yeah,
Interesting.
it takes up
Wait, how big was the hard drive that you have?
500 gigs.
Oh, that's small. That's small.
Yeah, it's about as much as on a normal PlayStation, right?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
So it takes up literally like it's like
yeah.
it took up a good chunk of it. But then when I did it, I also just for the hell of it, I started moving other things on there too. So like I still had Metal Gear Solid 5 installed and Ground Zeroes, and I put that on there.
Nice.
And a bunch of other things that I still had installed on there.
All right, Chris, what have you been playing lately, man?
I actually just finished Red Dead Redemption 2.
My man.
That story was so good, man. I couldn't believe it. I can't even talk about it because of spoilers. But
Yeah.
I've been trying to do the extra stuff now that I'm finished the main story. Is go back and like hunt the legendary animals. I didn't do any hunting, other than to get food. I didn't go like this bear or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know what people didn't somebody say they don't encounter cougars. I swear to God, every time I ride between somewhere, a cougar is fucking attacking me. My horse throws me off. I got to pull out my sawed off really fast and hope that I shoot that shit before it kills me. Every single time. It doesn't matter where I am.
Yeah, that was me. I said that. I only encountered cougars in like the northern parts of the map, not the snow covered parts, just the northerny. That's where, because most of the time I don't really see any cougars. Like I see wolves. I gotta deal with them. But yeah, cougars are crazy. As a matter of fact, I captured this on the stream. Basically, a cougar killed me on stream, and when I respawned, the motherfucker tried to come back at me again. But I had my sawed off ready though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, we got to talk about that ending, man. By the way, without spoiling anything, how epic was that last gun battle? Like with with the mountain and all that. I'm just gonna.
I swear, Rockstar should make movies because like that felt like watching a western.
Yes.
I said the same thing at the end of the first game. Like, holy shit, this is amazing. That was epic.
Yeah,
no movie.
Chris,
that wasn't epic. That was Rockstar.
Yeah. By the way, Chris, I don't know if you noticed.
They didn't do that. They didn't do the Ludo narrative dissonance ending, where essentially they throw they don't like the original game did, right?
Yeah. By the way, Chris, I don't know if did you notice the music during that final part? It was a callback.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, so fucking epic, man. I'm ready to play shit right now. All right. Anything else?
No, I'm gonna fire up GTA 5 now. They're giving out money.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Chris, since I have you here, man, Castlevania, man, what's up?
Yeah, I got to play it. So, yeah, I was busy last weekend. This weekend, I'll jump on there and play it.
Yeah, I really like your playthrough, man. Like, it's cool how you're like going through the entire fucking game. Rondo of Blood and now Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, I'll keep going. I stopped at a good spot to continue the stream, so people can see where that scene in Castlevania came from. If anybody's watched the Castlevania Netflix series, the first season, where they burn what's her name? Lisa, the Dracula's wife, basically. You're gonna see it where that came from. There's a scene in Symphony of the Night that explains that. That's where that came from.
Badass. All right, Carlos. Besides Heroes of the Storm, what have you been playing lately?
Red Dead Redemption 2. I haven't really played much this week. I only play in the weekends now mostly. So yeah, I'm probably maybe 2-ish hours in, so like not that far ahead of Manny. So I'm pretty sure we'll probably beat the game around the same time. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but the game is fun, man. The game it looks fucking pretty. That's what I'll say. It looks fucking pretty. The story moves along pretty nice. The voice acting is spot on.
On my TV?
Especially on my TV, 4K. It's over, son. Yeah, man. I mean, man, it's hard. Like, I haven't played that much of Red Dead, but it's just crazy how that Rockstar polish shows.
Yeah, man.
Like, as soon as you start playing that game, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a contender for Game of the Year at the end of the day.
Game of the generation.
Well, yeah, I mean, this generation doesn't have that many contenders, so
That's a fact. By the way, Barry says I was playing the new Leisure Suit Larry game and getting attacked by different kinds of cougars.
There's a question. It's like, wait, there's another Leisure Suit Larry game. What is that one? Wasn't that made like 20 years ago?
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a funny joke, man. Let it slide. Brett, tell us more about Fallout 76.
Other than the fact that I've been playing
I know what you've been playing, motherfucker.
Yeah, I put in a surprising amount of hours. I think I just got a trophy last night that popped up. It's like, being Wonder the Wasteland for 25 hours. I was like, oh shit, really?
You're like, thanks for reminding me, buddy.
Yeah. Like, fuck. All right. Cool. Sure. Yeah. 25 hours.
One with the Wasteland.
I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, it's the more I get into it, the more cool little surprises I'm finding, and actually the better it is than I thought that it was going to be. I didn't think there were going to be like random wandering traders, but lo and behold, like not even like characters, they're not even people, like NPCs. Like they're just super mutants. They're not humans. Oh, okay, cool. Well, I didn't know you could do all this shit. So I'm enjoying the shit out of it. I know I'm going to be doing it tonight when I get off the podcast.
By the way, I need to ask this question about Fallout 76 because this game takes place directly. Like you're basically one of the first survivors out of the out into the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why would there be NPCs? Think about that.
Why would there be human NPCs?
Exactly. So, but my point is, I'm not excusing some of the game's bullshit, but I'm like, okay, if you're just freshly coming out into the world, there shouldn't be any human NPCs to begin with.
Who's leaving the robots then? Who created those robots?
They can survive that shit. But Brett, did you ever hear anybody talk about that? Because to me, I'm like, if you're going to be narratively consistent, there shouldn't be any NPCs to begin with.
No, and like the narrative is actually weirdly intact. Like I had somebody be like, okay, so how is it that the Brotherhood of Steel is here? It's like, okay, the Brotherhood of Steel chapter that you actually find is fucking dead. Like they're gone. They died. And they essentially left their instructions that like most of the factions that you find are old shells of factions that you kind of inhabit. And the lore to that is that like, yeah, the Brotherhood of Steel tried to kind of rise up multiple times, so they're in the West, in their vault, but they're broadcasting out into the wasteland. And so you're essentially the forerunner of the Brotherhood of Steel. Should you join the Brotherhood of Steel and actually build it into a faction of other players, that you guys are the ones who originally started that for the rest of the Fallout game. So if you're playing a traitor, you're starting, you are the progenitors of the series. And it actually works really well because sequels are usually kind of constrictive, but really the only narrative points they have to hit is, yeah, some of you guys are going to kill other people as raiders, some of you guys are going to join the Brotherhood of Steel and Armor, and some of you guys are going to trade with other people, and then some of you guys are just going to be settlers. And those are pretty much the main factions of Fallout. So you're the first ones.
Yeah, that was the thing. I'm like, hold on, there shouldn't be people out there, Anyway, Brett, I'm guessing that's the only thing you're playing right now, right?
I've played a little bit of Red Dead, but the Fallout, it's got me sucked in, man. I got the itch.
Nice. All right, Adam, what you been playing lately, man?
Diablo on Switch, FIFA.
How is it on Switch, man?
It's great. It's great. It's awesome. It's the best port I've seen, and I've played a lot of these fucking ports.
Yeah, Adam, let me ask you, not to sidetrack it too much, because I've never played any of these games. What is the appeal of a Diablo game?
It's just aesthetic and just running around and killing these monsters and looting and building up your character as you explore these dark, creepy dungeons with crazy dialogue. And there are NPCs that you come across. Some of them you save, some of them they join your party and you do side missions while you're down there. And it just has it's just a wonderful place.
Yeah, they're pretty fun, man. I like those things too.
It's so fun.
Did you ever play Torchlight?
Yes, I played Torchlight. That was
Torchlight
alright.
2 was the shit, man.
Yep, that was like one of the first Diablo clones I played. I was like, oh, this is really good. That was before Diablo 3 came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I played the shit out of Torchlight 2.
yeah. That's why I'm looking forward to this Path of Exile, which everyone's saying is the Diablo that everybody wants, like for Diablo 4. So that's
Is it
coming
on
to
your-
PS4.
Is it going to be on your phone?
No, it's not gonna be.
Oh, that is not going to be the Diablo everyone wants.
But it's coming to console, at least for PS4 in December. I know it's free to play right now on PC. But that's it. What else? That's it. I mean, I had to take some time off from Red Dead. It was just getting to the point where I was like, I need to take a breather. I played some Detroit because that was on sale, so I picked that up. I did the first scene where that's it, and that's pretty much it. That's what I've been playing.
Yeah. By the way, this is why I like, talking to different types of gamers. Like Adam, you've been a little iffy on Red Dead. Meanwhile, like while I was on, I was just like I could, tap the vein. Like I couldn't get off the shit, Even right now, I'm purposely not playing it just so I don't get sucked in again. Like I want to replay the game. I love the game so fucking much. But again, you have a different experience. So I kind of think it's kind of cool that you and I don't have the same view of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a good game, but I feel like you need a good chunk of time to invest. And my time, most of the time, I don't have that. At night,
That's
I only
fair,
have like a
yeah.
certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So because of that, it's like, all right, well, what can I do within this half hour to get something done? I know I can't just do a side mission half hour.
Yeah, no.
Red Dead.
Red Dead, you got to be committed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then that's the only time I get to do it. If the wife and the kids are going to the, my in-laws or something, then I'm like, all right, now I can put some time in.
Yeah. By the way, Adam, side thing. Rich wants to. He goes, Adam, tell them how horrible WWE 2K is.
Oh yes, I've been rage quitting a lot in that one. That's why I didn't bother mentioning, because that was also on sale, and so I was like, all right, I'll pick it up on it's a half price sale. So I said, let me go in that route. But man, it's got nothing but issues. The collision system is horrible. You go to grab somebody, it doesn't grab them right. It just doesn't respond right. Then they added the story mode, but there's no checkpoints. They took that out. So you have, I don't know, let's say about like 10 different things that you have to do. And if you fail one, you have to start over from the beginning, every time. There's no checkpoint. So it's annoying. And they took out a lot of features in it. And it's just, it's got issues. It's got a lot of issues.
The one thing about those games is that people just continuously keep buying them, right? And they get worse and worse, it seems.
Yeah. Well, I think the sales number has been going down because remember in the 2K when they did that what was it? It was a phone call or something talking about like the future plans of the series, and they told me, oh well, we're gonna revamp it, we're gonna give it a new engine, and we're gonna go in a new direction. So I think that's enough that it's explaining. Because I mean, right now they have a monopoly. People are like, well, play something else. If you want to play a wrestling game, you just have Fire Pro Wrestling, which is not really on this level, and that's it. They have no competition. It's almost like the way it is with EA and some of the sports series.
Some dudes swear by Fire Pro though, man.
Oh yeah. No, because it definitely takes some skill. You have to know how to play. There is a learning curve. You have to know. You can't just button mash your way through it. This doesn't work that way. So that's why a lot of people swear by it, because they're like, well, I'm going to catch these people. And you build your characters, and you can create pretty much anybody.
Yeah, that's the thing I noticed. Like the character creator is the big thing about that game.
Oh yeah. It's awesome. It's awesome. And unfortunately, that's one game that was not part of this Black Friday sale. And I don't understand that, but I mean, on PC it was $29, and then when it came to PS4 it was $50. And they were like, oh well, we added some new Japan guys and stuff. Like, yeah, but still, that's kind of pricey for this game.
Yeah, here's a comment for you. He goes, Fire Pro on Dreamcast. This is from Sketch. He goes, Fire Pro on Dreamcast is crazy. You could build all kinds of fighters like Ryu and Akuma.
Yep.
You can still
do that
kind
in
of
this one too.
do
You can do this one too. You can do it too. And that's the thing. This isn't even a new game. This Fire Pro World, this is just a port of that older version. It's just modified. They brought it back because people kept asking for it, so they tweaked it and they're like, all right, they put it on Steam for a little bit and it worked, and then they put it on PS4. But it's technically not a new Fire Pro.
Interesting. Robert says Fire Pro kicks ass though.
Yeah, it does.
Shout out to Torrance Davis and Jeffrey Wilson. They love that fucking game. Also, Sketch says Path of Exile is great, and it stays free F2P, but it is funded by cosmetic transactions.
Okay.
Cool.
See, and that's it, cosmetic, and it's optional.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are against that. It's just when
Yeah.
the microtransactions like directly impact the gameplay, that's when we have a problem. But we don't,
Oh.
I'm speaking for me. I don't have a problem with microtransactions. Like, because some people get so mad that microtransactions exist. I don't have a problem with that. It's just if it affects the actual game, then I get mad.
Like, for example,
yeah.
even this one, the wrestling game, it has a microtransaction called Accelerator, My
Okay.
Creator Accelerator. I think it was like $10 or something, but you boost your guy automatically up to like 80 or something
That's
like that.
fine,
So
yeah.
you don't have to do the leveling up and grinding. And some people bitch about it, but like, how is this impacting you? This is
Yeah.
from my creator. You know what I mean? Why? You know what I mean? This is just his guy. And some people just don't have the time of the grind of winning all those matches and building up stats. Well, here you go. Now you're at like an even playing field of 80, like all the other superstars. But that's in there, and then I'm sure people buy it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Oh yeah. What have I been playing lately? I've been kind of all over the place because I'm not playing Red Dead right now. Again, I'm trying to get off that drug. Yeah,
Don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me.
Yes, exactly. So I've been playing just a couple of little things for a review. I've been playing some Battlefield 5, really good. Again, I'm very thankful I don't have to properly review the game. So I've just been playing a lot of the war stories. War stories is really good. Basically, the whole thing is they tell you World War II stories, but they're not like the Battle of the Bulge, Normandy, none of that shit.
That's the way they did it in Battlefield 1.
Yes, exactly.
You
Really
jump
good
in
stuff.
and out of different people in different locations.
And my favorite one is actually I forget the name of it, but it's basically your French colonial soldiers, like black soldiers, really fucking good, man. I played a little bit of and I still have to. It's not going to be a review now. It's going to be an editorial about World of Final Fantasy. I'm an idiot. Spider-Man. I streamed the whole shit for you last night. Basically, they got a new DLC about Hammerhead. Really good. I streamed that, and that's pretty much it. Right now, I'm a slight bit of a game break right now. I'm catching up on my comics. And because of Red Dead.
Comic books, you say?
Yes. Those things that you work on but don't read.
Yep.
And because of Red Dead, I have been watching every couple of days a Western movie. Last night I saw a Gary Cooper movie called the Man of the West. It was a darker fucking movie than I expected, but it kind of fit in with Red Dead. Basically, Gary Cooper was this like his character is a former outlaw, and his like old outlaw buddies bring him back into the fold. Doesn't that sound familiar? Really good movie. I'm probably gonna actually, man, because you told me to watch Once Upon a Time,
In the West.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Man, you got
I have
to.
that
I
if you
want
want to
to.
see it.
Adam, I'm gonna talk to you afterwards if you know what I mean, because some of these movies are not available on Amazon.
Of course not. That's why you got to go on the Butter server, and I told you this. But
I'm getting on that shit right now.
I got all day and Rich hanging out all the time.
I'm gonna do that too, because basically I made a list of like a bunch of Western movies, but even though I have Amazon, Netflix, and HBO, I only get maybe a quarter of them if I'm lucky. So Adam, I'm gonna hit you up.
But you don't have Adam Flicks. Adam Flicks servers.
Because every other week, every week I've been watching a Sergio Leone movie. I love that shit. Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More, Good, Bad, and the Ugly. So I'm gonna watch this shit now, the Charles Bronson movie.
Yeah.
You know what I watched? I don't know if I told you, the Tropic Thunder, but with the commentary.
Oh yeah, you
and
told
how,
me about that.
Yeah, and that this guy, Robert Downey Jr. stayed in character the whole time,
That's
just like he
funny.
said he would in the movie.
Yeah. But it's cool, man, for me, because I never liked Westerns, but now I'm watching these Western movies. I'm like, these are good fucking movies.
I got a bunch. I got the string.
I think you had this weird misconception about.
That's what it was, yeah.
Because a lot of Western movie like you kind of I at least kind of thought that you thought that all Westerns were kind of like essentially like watching Bonanza or something like that.
Yeah, but even
Bonanza or the
Did you like the Hateful Eight?
I never saw it. Yeah, but again, Adam, I'm trying to go on a timeline, but I will watch
Magnificent
that.
Seven?
Yeah, that's on Amazon. I'm gonna watch that. Not the new one, the old one. The curse.
New one is good.
Yeah, I heard about that. But Adam, I'm gonna talk to you about that. But yeah, but the thing is, here's the thing. Like, I had to tell my mind, like, Western movies are just action movies set in the West, which is what they are.
Yep, that's pretty much what they were.
Good.
And the other thing I was like,
frontier action.
yeah, because the other thing that was stopping me was I was like, that shit didn't happen in real life. But I'm like, yeah, did fucking Fast and the Furious happen in real life? No, it didn't. It's just an action movie.
Do you like space movies?
Yes, I love space
Like
movies.
sci-fi?
Yeah,
See,
of
there you
course,
go.
I love space sci-fi, but that's
But that's what I'm
plausible.
saying,
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Some of that shit.
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica, kind of crazy.
Yeah, but it's at least funny. But again, westerns are like, I see the appeal now. Actually, there's some I'm not gonna say that on air. Even though it's kind of whatever. So that's what I've been playing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, before we leave, we want to wish you guys for American viewers, our happy Thanksgiving. Hope you guys have fun, with the family, eating a bunch of food, drinking a bunch of drinks, and all that. And be thankful for whatever you have, even if you think it may not be a lot. Be thankful for what you have, because some other motherfuckers out there don't got shit.
Look at California. People in California lost
You know
everything.
what I'm saying? It's like, they're over there burning. We're over here chilling, So, I don't know if you guys want to, send any Thanksgiving shout outs, feel free to right now.
Yeah, make sure to work out all those pounds you're going to gain tomorrow, because it'll probably be a lot.
You
just put your finger in your mouth and throw it up. That's all.
Whoa.
That's it. Do it model style.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give a shout out to everybody in the chat right now. I'm going to give a shout out to my man, Robert Workman, who we will have back on again before the year's
Next
over.
month is his birthday.
Sketch, my man, thank you.
Have a good Thanksgiving, man.
Rich, Glorious War, thank you for all you guys. I'm thankful for the fans, man. The followers. Barry Burton, Solitary Zombie. I'm thankful for a lot of shit, man. There's a lot of things to be thankful for. Anyway, shout outs before you guys we head out. Chris, any shout outs?
No, I just want everybody to have a good holiday, be safe. Consumerism is a hell of a thing. So watch the Stampedes.
Yeah, be
Protect
careful.
your neck.
Protect your neck. Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang. Brad, any shout outs, man?
Not just to the audience. Y'all have a safe holiday and careful of other people being idiots.
Yes. Carlos, shout outs, man.
Yeah, shout out to everyone in the U.S. celebrating. Hopefully, you guys have a good long weekend. I work on Friday, so unfortunately I only get like one day off.
Damn.
But you used all your time when you went to Korea, right?
Well, yeah.
What? No, it's true. He used a lot of time. He was gone for like 2 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, I know that because every fucking day you were, where's Carlos, man? Where's he coming back?
Yeah, I missed him a lot. I kept thinking about it. I was worried. I was like, yo, what if they kidnapped that motherfucker?
Well, I was on the Twitter chats.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
I wasn't sure if that was you. There's spies. Governments do shady shit.
Yeah, I
You're
couldn't.
not even in a Twitter chat. Get the fuck out of here, Adam.
No.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. See you later, man. Go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, so shout out to everyone, and shout out to everyone here in the panel.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can have a great Thanksgiving as well.
Oh yeah, man. Yo, Carlos, one year I'm gonna have you over, man. You have that real Dominican shit, man.
Yo, man, we're gonna have that gong and shit.
Son, I'm ready, man.
You have gong.
Yeah. Adam, man, any shout outs?
Shout out to everybody at home, listeners, viewers, everybody. Just hang out, have a good one. Thanksgiving. Enjoy the deals. There's a lot of deals. I feel like you don't really have to go out anymore for these type of deals.
No, you don't need to go nowhere.
So just sit back, load up a bunch of like slick deals and shit on your web browser and just chill and enjoy life. Appreciate what you have because there's a lot of people that have far less. And that's it. Have a good one.
Yeah, Manny, any shout outs before we leave?
The shout out to all the fans and the folks on there. Sorry I didn't do a Throwdown draws today. Unfortunately, it was very busy. But you know what? There's just keep an eye out on us, and thanks a lot for listening.
Awesome. Last thing, Adam.
Yo,
the shit ain't over yet. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Oh Lord.
Wait, didn't Manny have that?
What the
remember what I
hell?
said, bro? What I said? I got 2 of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, he's got to. Well, Manny said he was gonna. He said he was gonna ship me a loot crate thing that he was putting together for me. So
The butter
Yeah,
version.
I got a
Fucking
couple
plot
of things
twist.
that I got a couple of things I could send over to you.
Actually,
I'm
Adam, you
excited.
know what? I'm a Sweden deal because I did not send you this. Did you want another 8-bit do controller? Because I got literally all of them.
Damn right. I'm gonna do it, fucking Carlo.
I'm gonna hit. All right,
Dude,
it's
you
a-
got those retro controllers you're handing out?
actually, you know what? Because I'm gonna give some of these retro controllers away, but I should give some of them to you guys first. So we'll talk about that after the air. But Adam, you'll get this in an 8-bit do controller, man. There you go.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas, man.
Expected in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. You don't like
2020. Yo, did you hear the PS5 just came out? Yeah, and guess what? I just got that 8-bit controller. Tony.
Hey, you just got to be persistent. I sent Robert Workman a controller. It took me 3 weeks to get it to him, so I got it to him eventually. You know. Anyway, so yeah. By the way, Sunday we'll be back at the same time, guys. Throw in your questions, man. So send them questions in, baby. All right. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco. International by Emilio Lopez.
See you later, guys.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
According to Jaden Smith's Twitter, I'm just joking. Later, guys.
Brett Murdoch. Yes, and Adam Vale.
There you go. Have a good week, people. Good holiday. You know. Enjoy life.
Deuces, people.
Brett, get in here, man. Well,
See everybody.
there you go. All right, guys.
He's having his raviolis.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm making homemade mac and cheese,
There
baked
you
mac
go.
and cheese, which Tony doesn't believe is real.
I don't, man. That's that shit from the box, right? All right,
We're not
guys.
doing this.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you on Sunday. Have a happy Thanksgiving, people. Thanksgiving miracles happen, man. Later.
Shout out to Mr. Gator.
Yeah, yeah.